Hey, welcome everyone to Go Game Go. We
Hey,
have
let's go game go.
Premium Games here with us.
It's Wednesday night. We
Welcome.
got guests.
Hello.
Jeff, you want to
And
introduce?
We have Barry. We have Jeffrey from Premium Edition Games.
Hey,
right off
what's
the
up?
bat, I guess. Well, let me just tell people first. You guys are publishers. You're publishing actual physical cartridges for the Switch.
Yes.
And that's why we're here to talk to you. If you could, let us know what you guys do at Premium Edition.
Jeff, you want to start us off?
Barry, go ahead.
Okay,
I
I
to adjust my internet real quick because mine's like popping around.
Oh, yeah, of course. So my name is Barry. I am head of customer service at Premium Edition Games. I'm also head over at Discord. I do dabble a little in the social media, but I just in terms of comments from my own personal Twitter. And I'm also part of the decision-making progress where we discuss which games we're going to sign, which games we're going to go with, and some of the business decisions.
And Jeffrey.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh, and see, Jeffrey's gone.
Yeah.
So Jeff will be back.
There we go.
There he is. He's coming back. There he is.
There we go.
Jeff.
Hey.
So, Jeffrey, do
We
you know
swap.
Papa Pete?
Do I know Papa Pete, the old school gamer?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course I know Papa Pete.
All right. There we go.
Yeah.
He didn't know you were going to be on.
Oh, Papa Pete, Papa Pete.
That's
Yeah,
a
I just switch off my internet over to my cell phone coverage because my daughter's apparently chatting with her friend and it's eating up all the internet.
Oh. Well, go ahead, Jeff. I already said what I did. You should say what you did or do.
I do things, all of the things. No.
Do.
So basically, I call myself the CCO, the Chief Creative Officer, but I make all the physical things. I go forth and talk with all the game developers with JP and Barry and kind of make all the cool stuff happen. I also do quality control as well as collaborate with all the different artists that we have because we try to do really legendary stuff with the different items that we're pushing out and trying to make everything old school. I mean, that's really it. I'm an old school guy anyways, and I just like to do things like, I mean, the patches that we're doing and everything. Like, I just dig all the physical things. It was ironic because we've only had our first series of 2 games come out and nobody could see the actual vision we were trying to push out when it came to the creative piece. And at Barry, he does our customer service and he would see constantly people are like, why are you charging, $39.95, whatever. And then as soon as they got our games, they're like, why aren't you charging more? And we're like we're literally doing it as an affordable thing, but like as much as we're putting into it, even with the old school manuals, like we're just trying to do everything over the top. There was a perfect example of one of the things we were going for, which somebody saw the other day, which is like they didn't use any of the same art in Super Blood Hockey on anything, and I'm like, exactly, exactly.
I'm looking at it right now. Yeah, just an example. The games, both your games come in a sleeve. It's got kind of the old NES little sleeve there. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know where my camera was.
Got
That's
mine
all
like right over here.
Yeah, like it slips out there. You got the little sleeve, and then it's a really nice artwork on here. And
I mean, and as Papa Pete knows, I'm a book guy, and I actually have the advanced copy of our strategy guide for Pigeon Dev.
Look at that.
200-page hardcover strategy guide.
I didn't even know that was coming out.
Well, yeah, it's part of our deluxe that we have up on the site. And the actual cover is going to be super shiny and like 3D afterwards. So this was like the very first version, so I could see like the page quality and everything. And it's going to be gilded in silver. Like, it's insane. Like, the actual final product is going to blow people away. And so, yeah, I got this sent to me a while ago so I could QA/QC. And the book's already in production and will be shipping. Like it's like on a ship basically at this point, along with the steel book on a separate ship, and the stuff's like crazy.
Yeah, that's so cool. I can't wait for people to actually get that guide.
I'm
One
just
of the
reading
things-
what Pete's saying
manuals.
too.
Yeah.
Reading what Papa Pete's saying.
One
Loves that
thing,
super blood hockey.
another thing is this: the beautiful steelbook, which not everybody has even seen yet. The steelbook
Wow.
is amazing. Our designer Erica did this. It's awesome. It's a horizontal TV, and it's like raised, and the back of it is actually the back of a TV,
Wow.
which is really cool. And the inside is the little inside of the TV with our characters there. Like
Oh my gosh.
Erica did such a phenomenal job here, and to see this, see the design is one thing, but to see this, the shine, like it is awesome. And this is in the retro and the deluxe, so either one you will get this awesome, awesome book.
Our retro box is going to be NES black box style for our first game, because we wanted to do a black box for first release, which was ironic. And the thing is that the black box retro box is going to be the size of like a Super Nintendo box, so it'll fit both the premium edition that you have as well as the steelbook in there that Barry just showed perfectly. Now the book that I just showed, and Papa Pete didn't know I was involved with this. I think that's JP's trick, is he's going to try to hide me away in a corner somewhere and doesn't let me out because he's afraid that I've been doing this for so long, and it's like crazy.
So you guys have distributors. Just real quick with Papa Pete, he's in Canada.
Yeah.
And he's trying to figure out how to get it. Don't you have just a Canadian distributor and then a UK and a European as well?
Yeah, Video Games Plus is the distributor that will ship. He ships internationally. That company, actually not he, it's a big company, but they ship internationally, and then we do have direct distribution overseas as well. So we're just trying to support as many people as we can and keep the shipping down, because if we shipped to Canada or to the UK, it would cost gamers a freaking arm and a leg, but in Canada, Video Games Plus can ship like super affordable. So
I've talked to Pete a lot about shipping to Canada, and it is crazy.
For the UK, we also have Bazaar. So if you want shipping, from the UK, you can do it there too, as opposed to from Canada.
Somebody just said I went to the University of Maryland, which is pretty crazy. I actually went online to University of Maryland. It's called University Campus at the time. Now it's called Global, but I went there for a while. One of my degrees over there, fun stuff.
Wow.
So one thing is that we didn't really show off. We've showed it off before, but we haven't really showed it off in tandem. So I showed the book, right? Well, it's part of our deluxe edition. Well, it's the same size as what I always thought was a really premium item back in the day. What's one of the most premium systems you could get in the 32-bit era?
Even before
the Neo Geo. The
Yeah.
Neo Geo. So our boxes are Neo Geo style boxes.
Wow.
Oh man.
Like actual Neo Geo boxes.
Wow.
And as you can see, we went for a Capcom style with it. For the artist X, a little shiny over here. But yeah, it's the same exact size as our guide. So that way it
Perfect.
lines up.
So you can
And
it's
then
all
of course
yourself.
and then the book guy in me puts it in a hard cardstock slipcase, which I don't have yet, but it'll go overside of that, and that one has a Konami aesthetic to it. So then it's like an intricate puzzle when I create this stuff. It's like ridiculous. And then we have team members, like Erica is one of our team members, and she came up with like all the artistic ideas behind doing all the different pieces. And then I just put it together and make sure Nintendo approves us.
Another item that's in there.
I think
Did you share this before? Because this is another item that's going to be in the deluxe.
I don't think
the
we
pin.
have shared that before.
Yeah, that's the enamel pin that's going to be included.
Wow.
Numbered. So that's just one of the extra bonus things. And we don't have one right now to show, unless you might have one, Jeff. There's the CD. The soundtrack comes in the deluxe as well for Pigeon Death.
Good Lord.
So you get a lot of stuff, and that's on top of the premium. That's on top of the retro box.
I have the CD.
Oh yeah, well,
I
you
haven't
have the
showed
blank
it off
CD.
yet, but here's the CD demo. Here's what they send us for CDs to check out.
So you're getting a lot of bang
it's
for
a
your buck
Super
here.
Blood Hockey CD.
Oh, that's awesome.
Classics. But
And
yeah,
then
they send it to us for mastering.
what does something like that? What's it retail that
The deluxe
box
is
set?
$99.99.
Okay.
And if you just want the retro,
Yeah,
which is
so-
like the premium and the steelbook, it's what, $59.99.
Okay.
Yeah,
And then the games
so essentially,
themselves
if we use round human numbers, we do $40 for our games, we do $60 for our retros, and then it's another $40 for the full hardcover 200-page strategy guide, plus the CD, the pin, the boxes, the slips, the sleeve. Like, we're trying to just put it over the top and make some really cool stuff, and just give back. Because I mean, we're collectors too, and I make stuff that I want. So.
Right.
Right. What sold me on you guys on these two games here is I was watching a friend of ours, Crow from Crow Continuum. He was doing a unboxing of Super Blood Hockey, and I already had the digital version, and so I was watching it. And then when he pulled out the card and said, "Oh, if you meet this requirement, send in a picture, you can get an actual patch." I was like, about 30 seconds later, I was already ordering Super Blood Hockey because has anyone done that since Activision in the early 80s as like a regular thing?
Not that I
think
remember.
So.
I don't.
I mean, I literally did River Raiders back in the day. I did River Raid, and I got the River Raiders patch, and I was like, I always wanted to do something like that, and that was one of my things. Like, if I ever was able to be king for a day and publish games, I'm gonna bring back challenge patches. And lo and behold, I'm the jerk who does it. Now people have to open their games and play them.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, that's the other thing. Yeah, like for collectors.
And then we
for
did
those who don't like
this
to open
as well.
stuff, you got to open these babies up in order to.
Yeah. This is
to
the
show off
Yeah.
your
So this right here is for unboxing. So anybody who does an unboxing, a video unboxing, and post it, and that can be on any medium, doesn't have to be like YouTube, but it could be like on social media even. We'll just mail them an unboxing patch, which helps us get our name out there, which is the hardest thing as a startup company, just getting our name out there. And I mean, I literally hand mail them all.
Yes.
So like, I go in the garage every week, I tally it all up, and I mail them all out. I just put a stamp on an envelope and shoot them all out.
Did you mail mine out yet, Jeff?
Old school. If you got in the last one, I mailed out patches on Monday.
Yeah, Monday was last.
Oh yeah, I did then.
Yeah.
So I did Super Blood Hockey and Pigeon Dev Games collection.
See, Jeff mails them all by hand, and I add them all to the spreadsheet for him all by hand. So we do it as a team,
and I do it individually too. So you're not going to get them together because I don't want to. I literally just put a normal stamp on it. I do one patch. I can do international or a stateside stamp. So it makes it super simple.
So I'm guessing,
and it's our own achievement system.
So this will be a standard for all your games. You'll have like a limited edition number of patches to hand out for conditions.
Yep. One thing also, you mentioned,
and I already have the patches approved for the next week.
Oh, that was good. The slip case on those two games, on Super Blood Hockey and Pigeon Dev, those done by Paul's artwork, which is amazing. We're going to keep doing that with all our releases, but going forward, we are doing a little bit of a change on that. And what we're doing is we're going to make those slip cases exclusive to the pre-orders. So we're going to give a window. We're going to give like a 4-week window on pre-orders on our next releases. And if you pre-order during that window, you're going to get those amazing, amazing slip cases. So we really want to just thank everybody that's willing to pre-order with us to show their faith in us and their confidence in us, and reward them with something really cool at no additional charge.
So do you both know what Barry's talking about when he says Paul?
Paul says what? I'm sorry, what was that?
When he mentions Paul, do you know? Do you know who Paul is when Barry mentions Paul?
No.
Paul Niemeyer. He's the artist.
There's probably a pretty big echo.
Yeah.
So yeah, because as Barry's talking, I'm like interrupting him, but really I'm not on my side. But Paul Niemeyer is an artist who designed and drew the Mortal Kombat logo. He also worked on Tron. He worked on Jaws 3 for the posters. He worked on Pac and Pal as well as Pinball Pac-Man. He worked on a lot of stuff.
Wow. He did the original Mortal Kombat logo?
Yep.
Wow.
So that artwork that you have on the slip cases, that's all him.
Yeah.
Oh, this is all him?
That's him. Both games.
Both of them?
That's him.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Yeah,
and
these are.
And it's a wraparound.
You know what's interesting is they're very different styles. It looks like it's from two different people.
No, same guy.
That's really impressive.
He can do a lot of styles.
And-
wait till you see how our Series 2 unannounced games are. The unannounced game, he went for a retro arcade aesthetic. That's about all the hint you're getting out of me.
Yeah,
A retro arcade aesthetic for it.
I will add to that it looks amazing.
And then Robot Named Fight is sci-fi. So that's going to be amazing. He's actually working on that one right now. The sci-fi.
And that's your
Robot
third
Named
game,
Fight
and that's your third game. That's the only other one we know about, correct?
Right now. Well, and Sunshine. But yeah, third game. Yeah, well, we'll leave it at that. We'll say it's our third game.
How can you tell us how many
There's
games?
such a bad echo. Let me flip back on my internet.
No, you're fine.
I'm not hearing anything on my end.
I'm not either.
Jeff just likes to interrupt me. He's, I'm used to it by now. It's been over a year.
I think that there's a bit of it.
So, can you guys say how many games you'll have releasing in 2021?
We can't tell you the amount of games, but we will say that we gave a lot actually on the playcast. We gave a little bit of a hint on our latest playcast, which dropped earlier this week, just on what to expect. And we do have some really cool announcements coming very, very soon. We can't say the exact number, but we have some really, really cool stuff. And it may not all be games, but we have some really cool stuff coming up.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So how do you go about?
I think the announcement, we were supposed to put in some spoilers, right?
Well, what was that? What about spoilers?
Oh, I think you froze.
Well, there's such a long delay that by the time I say somebody else is talking.
Jeff's on that phone internet.
I was gonna say, how do you go about selecting the games you want to go for?
That's a interesting question. Some of it is us reaching out to developers when we see a game that looks really cool and we want to try to tackle. Some of it is developers coming to us and saying, hey, I've got this really cool game. Do you want to check it out? But one of the things we try to do is we all have to play the game. We all have to check it out ourselves. And we decide, we talk about it. We say, do we think this is, a game that's going to set the world on fire? Do we think this is going to be something totally rad? Something that we really enjoy ourselves? Because there are some games out there that we just don't like, just like anybody, There's different genres we may not care for, or different styles of games we just don't care for. So we definitely want to do what we feel are a good game. But if there goes Jeff again. But if it's a when there's opportunities to bundle games like the Pigeon Dev Games Collection, we're going to take it because our price is for the premiums are $40. So if we can get multiple games on there for that same price and give our customers a value, we're going to do that. And we were the first ones in North America to actually have a 4-game multi-application card where it's 4 individual games, not something like the Mega Man Legacy Collection where, it's a special menu and all that stuff. Because we're like, hey.
I've seen that on Japanese games. I've seen it on Psycho Collection. They have 2 different collections. So the first time I popped it in, it's spread out 4 icons. I was like, ooh, that's cool. You don't have a certain menu. You just go straight to the game. I really like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you guys are the only ones doing that in North America because I haven't seen any yet anyway.
As far as we're aware, in North America, we're the only ones that have one of those. Jeff's back.
I switched over to my computer.
There you go.
Like a normal human. Just don't look on this board. There's spoilers over here. Can't look at that board.
Normal.
Can't look at that board over there. There's spoilers. That's our working board. No.
Quick zoom in.
Hey, now there's no echo, so that's good. Now I won't be interrupting you guys because I would literally say something and then you guys would talk in 3 or 4 seconds. It was bad. It was really bad.
So, who are the main people? You two, and JP.
Yep.
Were you guys the original? Who started this?
Jeff and JP were the original, and I was brought on shortly after they started because we all did the playcast. But there's more to us than that. there's, like I said, Erica's doing the designs, awesome design. She's one of our designers. And we had Rowan, who worked with the manuals with Jeff. We have Steve, who wrote that awesome book that you saw, the guide, along with Jeff. Great stuff. And then, of course, there's Frank the Tank, who does a lot of our social media stuff and does a lot of those crazy videos, like the video on how to send in and submit for your challenge patches. And we're
our videos, Dan, who does Console Wars, he's our editor. He does all the editing for us. So us like jumping around on the direct, that's all Dan, like creating that stuff, which is really cool.
Yeah. You guys do a great job of on social media, because I posted my boxing for the first two, and then I showed my picture off with for the patch to get the patch, and you guys responded, and it was like a blink of an eye, and so I think that goes a long way. That goes a long way to I think having some happy customers when the people involved are actually looking and talking back. It's a nice thing.
If it's the official premium social media, then it's either JP or Frank. And if it's that quickly, it's probably JP, because he lives on Twitter.
He does.
But yeah, for anyone who submits, and does that, obviously you'll get that. But also you have to make sure to send us an email, because that's when I get it, and that's when I'm able to put you to the spreadsheet and confirm. And if you see a comment from me on it, that usually means I'm in the process of putting your submission into the spreadsheet as we speak, because I always try to send my congrats as well.
So when I was stuck in the delay tunnel, there was something that I did want to mention when it came to what Barry was talking about with our next series of games, because we're going to release all of our games in series, so that way people can bundle the games together and things. So we're going to do a direct in the future, just like we did our first direct. When we do that, we're going to give people plenty of time and a heads up when the pre-orders are going live, so they can plan it out. Because if we're going to make something like the slipcases and the sleeves exclusive to the pre-orders, we want to make sure you have an opportunity to be able to get it. Because it's going to be tough, because if people miss out on that month-long pre-order or however long we do, I think it's going to be a month. It's about standard. We want to make sure that you have the opportunity to get it.
So do you guys have a certain number of games that you produce, or do you just wait for pre-orders?
So that's an interesting one. So essentially, we're a small time company that we're doing this as a passionate hobby, because we're game collectors just like everybody else. So we're taking on small parts, because as you see, even in the premium editions, like we're going with tons of little nuggets and different little cool things inside the game. Inside the manual, there's little things. So once you play Super Blood Hockey and you go into the season mode, which is like an RPG for hockey RPG, you'll see that in there's some stuff that they mentioned that actually did shout outs into the manual, like stuff that the coach will tell you to do. And I threw it in the manual as a little like Easter egg and things. So we're taking our time. And so we're only doing we only want to do really a game a quarter, pretty much, if we can avoid it, because I want to be able to take the time, put everything in there, only doing one guide per series, because once we get the guide, we want to get the guide shipped out before we start, sending out the next guide. The other thing is that we want everything. Are we doing Savage Halloween? Why are you asking if we're doing Savage Halloween, Anthony? You'll have to answer that question first. Why are you asking that? I'm not confirming or denying anything.
Answer a question with a question.
Of course.
Exactly. They're paying attention to JP. But that being said, I wouldn't pay attention to JP. He's talking all about limited run and super rare and special reserve and strictly limited and all the companies. So. But yeah, as we're doing all of the series, we want to give everything the love it has, everything deserves. We want to make sure developers seeing Loren watch everybody do the challenge patches and enjoy the social media interaction. Seeing everybody play his game is the best part. That being said, though, we're already working on Series 2 games, Robot Name Fight and other game I will not talk about. Those two, they're already approved for lot check, which means Nintendo's approved it. Barry doesn't know this, but other game, the label and the retail sleeve are already approved by Nintendo. We can already print them. Those are approved today. I got kicked back yesterday, approved today. And I work on them during the week too. I don't even tell Barry that I work on stuff during the week. He thinks I only work on the weekends. But Robot Named Fight, we're waiting on. Like, there's a lot of little weird things you have to do with Nintendo that they require that just are a pain in the butt. Like, we're waiting for the digital publisher gave us access to be the retail publisher for physical. Well, Nintendo has to approve that. Like, we're just waiting on them to say yes. And then I was upload everything that we have done because we have all of the things done. That's where this checklist is, which I actually didn't spoil anything on there, ironically. But, like, I already have the patches done, the cards, the case inserts. I'm working on the interior of the manual. I actually designed the interior of Robot Named Fight last weekend, and it looks awesome. I love because the first two, so Loren Lemke, he works overseas in Europe. He's in Europe, is where he's from, the developer. But Pigeon Dev, which we worked on a full strategy guide with, the developer's from Russia, doesn't speak or read English.
Oh, wow.
So we had to go through the digital publisher to like communicate. It's so great with Robot Named Fight. I just in Discord message Matt, who runs Morningstar Games, and I was like, hey, can I get some art assets? And he sends me 5,000 art assets for the manual, and I'm like, I'm just over there like, yes, it's Christmas. Let me create some fun stuff and. Like I'm gonna make some crazy stuff for the Robot Named Fight manual, and it was so cool. I'm doing like old school shout outs with like teasers. It's rad.
But to also answer Jeff your question, in terms of the amount that we are doing, Nintendo in America has a minimum print of 5,000. That is the absolute minimum they will go. So Super Blood Hockey is a print of 5,000, and Pigeon Dev is the same, except we broke that down where there's only 3,000 of the premium editions. There's 1,000 retro, and then there's 1,000 of those deluxe. So that's where we're going. Now that is not like the be all end all like ceiling. Like if with these open pre-orders,
there's nothing limited in our name.
Yeah. So if we get 6,000 pre-orders for Robot Named Fight, if we get 6,000 pre-orders for Robot Named Fight, we're going to print 6,000. We're going to make sure everybody gets them. And if there's enough demand in the future down the road, we could always do reprints. But there has to be, 5 people miss it. That's got to be substantial because when you have to order in increments of 1,000, and that's still very expensive, and there's a lot. Yeah. So we do want everybody to enjoy our games. Right now, the games are still available, but they are selling. So it's one of those where if you're like, maybe not, the choice is yours. But once they're out, it's going to be a while before those get a reprint if they ever do. But that's why we're doing that open pre-order, because we don't want to limit it if we don't have to. But 5,000 is the minimum that Nintendo will do. So there will definitely be 5,000 of each of the titles.
So your patches they're limited. Those are limited.
Correct. Yes.
That's just me being a jerk, really, because I could always print more, but I'm not going to because I want it to be like something where, people collect them. Now, I mean, we're printing enough so that way we have like those that are waiting on the retro and the deluxe editions of Pigeon Dev. We don't want them to miss out. Like Barry will tell everybody in the emails, like we hold them aside. Yeah, absolutely. We will hold some aside.
Oh, that's interesting. That's
because we don't want to run out. I mean, we've been shipping out a ton of them, so actually we're getting lower than you think, Barry. But that's okay.
That's what I was going to ask. Do you guys still have patches for both of your games still available?
We do still, and the unboxing we still.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
So. Yeah, the unboxing one, like I'm probably for every series, I'll probably come up with something cool for that because the first one is our logo. I don't know what I'll do for the next one, but I'll probably come up with something cool. That way it's not like, all right, I already did the unboxing for Series 1. I already did Super Blood Hockey and Pigeon Dev. There's no reason for me to do the others. Well, I mean, it's also partially helps us with getting our name out there, so I'll make it cool.
So when does Series 2 start? Is it with a Robot Named Fight, or is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
we're another game.
Another game. We're gonna do open pre-orders for both Series 2 titles at the same time. So if you want to grab them both, you can grab them both in the same order. You have that.
And I will tell you that we ordered them at the same time. We're ordering everything together, so that way it all comes. We're not gonna have to wait for one for months because we're literally it maximizes our cost too as a company. So if we order we have to order 5,000 copies of a game. So if we order 10,000, it's a little bit better for us financially. So that's where we're doing stuff, smartly.
Plus, it's fun because then it becomes like sister games, like they come out together and, we get to see the excitement from both titles.
Yeah.
And JP is Switchmania on Twitter. Is that right?
JP's
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. He's responsible for a lot of late night purchases by me.
Yeah.
He's kind of an intense guy. He's an insane guy and intense, very intense.
Yeah. He is very much so for not just you, Jeff.
So I got a
not
question,
alone.
maybe long answer, but you guys weren't in the video game industry, correct? Before this was going on?
So I'm the crazy one here because many moons ago I ran a video game website called the Video Game Masters Club, where I created emulation in a browser. I actually wrote the code for it, and then I couldn't monetize it. Shared it for free on the internet. There's websites that picked it up and started doing it. And so I started doing that. I started writing on the side. I started writing different video game. Like I love doing hidden gems and stuff. And this was before Metal Jesus started doing his video series and stuff. And I love doing that. And then my site went away because it cost too much to maintain. I was getting 1 million hits a day. And they started to want to charge me for all that space and all that traffic. So eventually I was like, well, let me put that into a book. And I was looking around. I found the online websites where you can do like the Amazons where they'll like create a book for you and all that. And it's super expensive. And it looked cool, looked okay. And then fast forward, we actually had somebody mention that I went to University of Maryland, finished up a master's degree over there. And I realized that I could do my job and work on books on the side. So I wanted to create a Nintendo collector's guide where it had the box art, the screenshot, and then I wanted to be able to figure out if I had the box, the manual, and the game and the cartridge, because I kept on getting multiple manuals, and I wanted to go in my pocket so I could go to conventions and stop when I hang out with Papa Pete at too many games. I don't want to be getting the same Ninja Gaiden manual multiple times. So, I started doing all that. Well, I created my own publishing company because I started going to publishers and they're going to give me like 2%, 3%. And instead of that, I was like, I will take all of the money and I'll take all of the risk. So I started a publishing company about 8 years ago now, Hagen's Alley Books, which Pete knows all about the books. He says he has 4 of my books on the game shelf. And he actually has one of my T-shirts that he got, which I think is the only one that has one of those the complete SNES original art T-shirts. But yeah, it's a wild thing. And through that, I also did the Tetris World Championships. I did the commentary for the finals. So there's a meme that's called Boom Tetris for Jeff that went viral. I'm the other commentator with Chris Tang. I'm the one who said Peacement Places. I'm the one who was saying crazy stuff, just trying to get Chris Tang all hyped up on caffeine. Worked real well. I've also been in the Bits of Yesterday video game documentary. I was in the trailer for Video Game Box Art. He actually cut me out of the main one, Rob. Sure. But I've been in multiple documentaries though. And then, going around to conventions, I would do like about 12 conventions a year, just selling books and doing panels on video games. Also did Video Game Bullshit, if I could cuss, Video Game Bullshit podcast, which we did for 5 seasons. I did it with my cousin Kyle, and we started with Has the Angry Video Game Nerd Jumped the Shark, which got a lot of heat from us, to episode 100 with the Angry Video Game Nerd on with him, because I know him. And we came full circle and chatted with the dude. And at one of those panels is when JP joined me, which comes full circle. And at Midwest Gaming Classic, where JP came out, we actually started talking about different avenues, and we started talking about Nintendo Switch and like, hey, could we possibly publish? And we were rooming with a game developer at the time. He released a game on the TurboGrafx 16 and Sega Genesis called FX Unit Yuki. Sarumaru.
Sarumaru, yeah.
Yep, Saru. Saru was on the panel with us, and the final piece of the premium puzzle is that we were going to release FX Unit Yuki, which he's never ported to the Switch. I was like, hey, we got our side. We got the hard side done. We're publishing now. Come on, Saru, get on the ball. He actually did the cartoons of us bouncing around too.
Wow.
Well, it sounds like a perfect connection for one of your games.
Yeah, so I mean, we go like, and the irony is that when people were like, "Well, we don't know if you've released anything," well, it's what Papa Pete said. They didn't know that I was part of the company, so they didn't know the pedigree of that. I've had a publishing company longer than Limited Run Games has had a mantra. Longer than they've been doing their limited thing, like I've been doing physical publishing. So like, you're gonna get stuff, and it's gonna be crazy. Like, and now people are realizing it. They're getting crazy stuff. And, like our key thing is that, all right, so you want us to sign a game, it has to be cool. Like, I got to like it. I got to dig it. Like we do a panel of all of us playing it. We got to like the thing. If we think it's going to be an awesome game, like we may sign it. We may be able to release it. Now we are going slow. Like we said, 2 games in the series, and we opened pre-orders, last September, October, November, like with the different
August.
Yeah.
Was the first one.
So I'm just saying though, that's a long time in between releases, and we're okay with that. So when people say, "Hey, are you signing this game?" like we saw in the chat, like, where'd you hear that from? Because I mean, if we do sign any games, like, I mean, I know Savage Halloween. I've played Savage Halloween. It's a pretty awesome shooter. It's a running gun like Contra with 3 different characters you can choose between. It's a really cool thing. We're going to play it for the Playcast pretty soon. I know that's what JP was playing. But if those developers, if it doesn't have a physical by the time we get to Series 4, because yes, we have a lot of series now lined up already, ironically. When we get to Series 4, I mean, we'll talk with them for sure. It's awesome.
So
yeah,
I got stories. I got
a quick question. Have you guys played Demon's Tilt, and do you like it?
Jeff. That's all Jeff.
I have been trying to get JP. I was trying to get JP to sign that sucker in Series 2. Like, I have a pin switch up on top of, because I have a Nintendo Switch kiosk that I'm pointing to. On top of it, I have a pin switch. Have you heard of a pin switch?
No, I don't know what that is.
Let me see if I can not knock down my stuff and grab this thing.
Oh, the pin switch is so cool.
The pin switch is a really cool item. So this is a pin switch.
What?
And it's literally, the Nintendo Switch goes right in here vertically, and it has actual pinball buttons for start, for left and right bumper, and then it has a little joystick so you can select. Well, Demon's Tilt pinball works in this. Not only that, the developer responded to me and edited Demon's Tilt so it could rotate the game so it would look good in the pin switch, because it only rotated one way, and I was playing it upside down when I first got it. So I love Demon's Tilt. It's just like the classics. Just like the classics of Alien Crush and Devil's Crush and Jockey Crush.
Pinball game.
It's so good. And I would love to bring it physically. We have to convince JP. We have to convince Anthony. Appreciate it. That's why I say loves what we're doing.
Very much appreciated.
But yeah, this pin switch thing was super cool. This was like the demo that the guy made, and I had him sign. He signed it on the inside on the sticker for me. So I was like, "Will you sign this?"
Wow.
Yeah, this thing is so cool though. And I mean, we did our own little arcade for Switch Collector Volume 1, the Switch Collector book that I released. We did this, which is actually made of old arcade parts.
Holy crap.
And like the Switch fits in from behind. You can put 2 Joy-Cons in right here. But it's really cool just to play in the lap with like one of these Pro controllers and just sit like while you're on the couch.
Right.
It's like, it actually sits in the lap pretty nicely, which was an unintended consequence. I thought it would just be a little arcade thing.
I actually asked the developer of Demon's Tilt if he would add button mapping.
And did he?
He said, "Why?" And I said, "Because I know all the last few years, the pinball games, you always use the bumpers or the shoulder buttons. But on the old games, like in the handheld, you pushed left for the left bumper, and you would press A for for the right bumper.
True.
And it actually works so well that I have a harder time doing the shoulder stuff than I do those. It just feels better. I don't know why, but
You need to
me,
get a
it
pin
feels
switch. That way you just can literally play like that.
yeah.
And I have a little bar in my like over in my kitchen, and when I sit it on top of the bar, it's at the perfect height for the switch because it has to be up higher because it's a small little, like the screen needs to be higher. And it sits perfect on my kitchen bar. I play like all the different pinball games on it, and ironically, Donkey Kong works pretty good on it, which is pretty funny. Like playing the arcade archives Donkey Kong, you can use a little joystick on it and jump, and it works okay. Classics. Sounds like Anthony says he's missing a lot of stuff. The Switch is ridiculous. It goes deep. That's why it's the only thing I collect now.
Yeah, it's really the only thing I'm collecting at the moment. Are you guys just concentrating on the Switch for the next for as long as you can think of?
I mean, all we've heard about the other consoles is that they're a pain in the butt, and Nintendo's enough of a pain in the butt, and we love collecting for it, so I'm willing to endure that. For the other consoles, it's like we could do them, but again, like it's super expensive, so we want to like kind of take our time, do things the right way. Oh yeah, we got some Demon's Tale fans.
Yeah, I love that game.
But yeah, like we want to take our time, focus on one thing, and also like you said, uniformity in releases is what we like. So I mean, while we can't do a strategy guide for every single game we release, just because there's not enough time in the world to do that, we do want to make sure that every premium edition is universal across the collection.
So are you all your series are coming in twos? Is that right?
For now. Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. If we have a sellout run or something, like we'll continue to make cool stuff. Like we'll see where it takes us, but we're not gonna like get the cart in front of the horse, right? And then all of a sudden be like, all right, we got to close down shop because we put out 7 games and we can't do 7 pre-orders. It doesn't make sense. Yeah. Ooh, Papa Pete pre-order Super Bloodhound.
Yes, thank you, Pete.
Appreciate the support, brother.
Yeah, I have a feeling there's a lot of people in this chat that are interested in everything you're doing.
Yeah,
it's good.
Hey, it's fun.
Is everything or everybody that works with you guys? I mean, do you guys have an office or somewhere where you, or does everybody just?
I'm in it.
Yeah.
So y'all work remotely.
We're all over the country.
Yeah. So our business plan. JP and I jokingly said, "Papa Pete." He's wearing the shirt. He's He's on with us. So we have we always had a 5-year plan, which is because I actually am able to retire from my main career. So I have a main career right now. I can actually retire from it in 5 years, and now it's 4 years, by the way. It's been another year.
Sweet. I'm looking close to mine too.
Imagine what I can do when I'm actually doing 100% of something that I can publish multiple books and games and create. But in reality, though, we have multiple iterations of the business, and one of the final iterations is to have an actual concrete place. I don't think we're ever going to get Barry out of Jersey, but everybody else will probably go somewhere warm, where we'll all have a place. I always said I wanted to like take over an old building. That way it has a big old parking lot so we can do like swap meets like every couple months or something. Have a gaming swap meet. Have like a big gaming area in the front where we could sit down and play Switch games or any games, honestly. And then have some workspaces in the back where we can do some creative stuff, ship out our own stuff, do all of that. I mean, honestly, we could print our own stuff if we had a printer. Like I already know how to do all that. It's insanity.
Well,
he's wearing the shirt. Papa Pete's wearing the shirt right now. There's no coincidence.
That's because it's Sexy Wednesday, so he knows what to wear.
That's true.
Papa Pete on Sexy Wednesday. Because I mean, I have my son is a technical writer, and I know he would love to work in the industry. So. I'll have to, I'd be interested if you guys are expanding at some point, and could use somebody like that.
Oh yeah, I mean, even with my books and things, like there's opportunities for writers. Obviously, I'm keeping things concise with the Switch Collector because I'm covering every single Switch game year by year, and it's insane.
Wow.
I took on. Volume 1 is over 300 pages, and that's the first year of the Switch when it was easy. Volume 2 is the first half of the second year, and it's over 400 pages already. And I thought I would have it done, but Premium took in too, and so now I finished up the writing when I took a week off work. I finished up all the writing. Now I have to do the editing part, which is going to take a while.
So where can people find that book?
So Volume 2 is available at HagensAlley.com. We had a few copies up on Premium Edition games, but it's on Hagen's Alley. We're going to do some cross-linking of the sites. We guys got to do it right, so that way guys like Papa Pete will know that I'm part of the company. But Volume 1 has been sold out since December, so I'm going to have to do a reprint of that too. But Volume 2, and people that want to get Volume 2 or want to get Volume 1 because they heard about Volume 2, like I want to make it available. And I mean, Volume 3 is going to be another awesome beast, and it's fun. And also, I mean, who do you think knows more about unreleased Switch games than me? Because it's literally a section in my books for every. There was a game called Robot Named Fight in the series Volume 2 when I was researching it for that book, and I saw it and I'm like, why is this not in a physical? So we contacted the developers and they're like, yeah, we'll do a physical.
Wow.
We're about to do a comprehensive update though, which is why. And I'm like, well, we'll just publish it after the update so everything's complete on cart. Perfect. Right. And now this summer it's releasing physically on cart with us. So
wow.
Have you ever had a developer say, no, I don't want to do physical?
Oh yeah. Tons. Yeah. Really? Or more. I mean, a lot of them already have different types of deals in place. So, I mean, you think about it, like certain companies, if you know if a game's coming out, it's going to like a limited run games or a special reserve games. Like anything Devolver Digital does, they go to special reserve. So like if we go and reach out to them, we're like kind of being jerks. So we don't really even at this point, like developers are reaching out to us. But if there's a game like Demon's Tilt, like reach out to them. My gold ribbon game, if I could release anything, would be Double Dragon 4. I would love to have a physical Double Dragon 4. I have Double Dragon 1, 2, and 3 on my NES collection right here, like the CIB. Like that would be the game. And we would literally put it in an NES box, put it right next to the other 3.
Wow.
But yeah, they're not interested right now in a physical. So we all have our gold medal games that we would love to put out, and it would be cool. And then everything else we put out is like got to wow us at that same level. And that's where like Robot Named Fight other game is Sunshine Anthology, which we they took the Kickstarter that we put our name with. That's in development. That's actually right there. There's a bear that's on that painting on the side. Right there. I had to allocate my finger. But yeah, there's a killer bear, and it's almost like a map like Friday the 13th on the NES, but it's like he did it like a classic horror style game, and then he's doing a sequel called Sunshine Manor, and it's more exploratory, and you can use psychic powers and take out a big Reaper demon, and it's done by he does horror music for a living, like he teaches music, and then the art is done by Graham Humphreys, who did Nightmare on Elm Street and Evil Dead. He did the posters, and he's doing the box art for it. Like we're doing crazy stuff with some releases. So if we're putting our name to a Kickstarter, like we have to dig it. It has to be something that is really cool. And we're just gonna like try to blow people's socks off, especially like we're calling it modern retro done right. Like we're doing it like we would want to collect it, like every little piece.
Incredible.
So how does that work if you're doing a Kickstarter along with your normal release? Is it just kind of all rolled into one?
Oh, it's wild. It's crazy. There's so many. You're talking about the other stuff's a puzzle. This is like a nightmare puzzle. This is like a damn Rubik's Cube. Now it's so like they had their own Kickstarter that they released, and then what we're gonna have to do, because they had Kickstarter exclusive things too. Papa Pete, you're not wrong. We'll talk about that in a minute because I actually have an update for that. But when it comes to like a Kickstarter, he has his own exclusive stuff. But the Kickstarter itself, like, did not raise enough to do a physical print. Like, it didn't even come close. Like, it costs like 6 digits to do physical for the Switch. It's insane. Like, per game. Like, there's no, like, that's why we really appreciate the support from everyone, like all the pre-orders and everything, because we were able to make this a reality. And like, this isn't something like anything that we make is going to the next releases. Like, we're literally just building and building and building. Like, we're just having fun with it. But like, when it comes to that, we're gonna have to do our pre-order system for the Sunshine Anthology, because both games are going to be on one cartridge. So you're not going to have to buy the games individually. They're going to be on one cartridge. And we're going to do the release when it's done. It won't be in a series because people have already put forth their hard-earned money for it. So as soon as they get it done, we're going to get it ready. But we're going to put it up for pre-order so that way people can get it. They won't be able to get the Kickstarter exclusive stuff, which is up on BackerKit still, so people can get it right now. And get the exclusive stuff, but we will have some really awesome stuff that'll be comparable. We have been authorized to use Graham Humphrey's art. It's going to be exclusive on the retro case inside the Switch case for the Kickstarter, but we're able to use it on a different item for our release. So that'll be cool. So that way that art will be able to be enjoyed by everyone. And then of course we're doing a guide with it too and all that stuff. So but we're going to have to do a separate pre-order for that, our own version. That way we can ensure that the game has enough funding to print.
So I have a question about, I buy a lot of import games, Japanese games that have, most of them that I get have English. Mm-hmm. Have you guys ever looked into that? Maybe a Japanese exclusive game, trying to bring it here that, already has English. So you don't have to go through that.
You want to take this one, Barry, or you want me to take this one?
I mean,
I can take it, but I've been talking a lot.
I mean, it's one of those things where if it was the right game, I would say it would be something to consider. But one of the things we're trying to look into, and when we started, is to get games that don't already have a physical to get them. So if there's already like a Japanese version or an Asian version that does have English, there's already a release. You can go ahead and get that. We want to do stuff that is the retro box.
Anthony mentioned black boxes. This is the black box style we're doing.
Yeah, that's the retro box for Pigeon Dev.
Oh, jeez.
But yeah, we want games that don't. There's no option like Super Blood Hockey.
Let me cover this because that's not allowed.
Yeah, the seal of approval. But like you couldn't get Super Blood Hockey. You couldn't buy it physically anywhere else. So that's what we wanted to prioritize, games that don't have that option. It would be great to get US releases for every game that was Japanese only with English already on it, because it would be a little easier in that sense. But it's one of those where we'd rather go for new games.
My answer is a little simpler, is that we have to print 5,000 copies in the States. And if they've already sold 2,000, 3,000 copies, like, it's going to be tough to sell another 5,000.
Yeah, that's another reason too.
Yeah.
But it's
I
nice
mean, if we just have like crazy followings, it's cool. And then we sell out. But then the issue is we have no copies for sale for gamers too. So it's like a double-edged sword, right? Like, like right now we're in the Wild West Premium Edition. Everybody's along for the ride. And I want to keep it here. I like it. We like this. As long as we can print everything, as long as we can make the stuff a reality, like Barry and I are cool with it.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I'm enjoying it. Yeah. So so I said I would come back to Black Box Challenge for Papa Pete. I actually I'm doing a novel based on Black Box Challenge. And so Black Box Challenge is an NES RPG on the NES on a cartridge that is a role-playing game where you collect video games. You collect the Black Box games, and it's an RPG, and it's insane. And so I'm doing a novel based on it, which is going to have a whole narrative, a whole story, everything. We have an artist that she worked with Disney that is doing it. And I said I want to choose your own adventure style, which she has perfectly. Let me see if I can bring up a photo that she said, because I did a Facebook, or not a Facebook, a Kickstarter update. So I actually showed some pictures. But essentially, it's going to be a choose your own adventure style. Let me see if I can make this large. Oh my gosh.
There you go.
Yeah, so she did that, and that's like the old Choose Your Own Adventure books, but I'm writing it in the style of the Worlds of Power, because if you played Blaster Master back in the day on the NES, there was a Worlds of Power book that was with it, and it actually expounded upon the narrative, which was pretty cool. And that's what we're doing with Black Box Challenge. So that being said, HD remake remastered Black Box Challenge, if I found the right game developer that was willing to take on it, we would completely revamp it with modern Switch style retro graphics in Unity, and we could absolutely do it with the new narrative and everything.
Wow.
And the thing is we have some ideas, some stuff that's never been done that I can get with some artists, and like that's literally our, we say like phases of the business. That's the phase where we have a physical place plus, have developers developing games. Like we're just like we're publishing games now, but like we have developers on, we'll make games. Like we got ideas for days.
Wow.
So I think you mentioned you're doing stuff other than games, physical stuff. Is it more than like the books you're talking about? Is there additional stuff besides that?
So, basically it's just books and games. And I have a bunch of authors that are signed to Hagen's Alley. So right now on Kickstarter, Daniel L is doing the Pixel Perfect Punch-Out book. And that's up on Kickstarter. It's almost 400% funded now on Kickstarter. Wow. Once it hits 400%, we're doing a free slipcase that's done by Paul Niemeyer. So like Paul is doing the slipcase, and it's like a big silhouette of like Little Mac with Mike Tyson looming over him. And the original title was Mike Tyson, Pixel Perfect Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. We took Tyson's name off of it so he didn't get angry. We don't want him to angry at us.
No, I don't want him angry.
I don't want Tyson angry. But yeah, that book's going crazy. We're getting tons of backers. It's actually a project we love by Kickstarter, and I'm literally just helping them make it for an affordable price and at the highest quality possible. And that's what I have the time to do right now with Premium, and working on that novel plus Switch Collector Volume 2 at the same time.
Wow.
Doing some craziness.
Well, I think the cool thing that I noticed, because I am not as familiar with all that Jeff is, which is most of the time when it comes to this. That's why you see the music stuff in the background. That's why I do into that. But what I'm really digging is the passion that you guys have for this stuff, and I really have a large respect for you guys. Not going, yeah, we got all these games. We're just doing all these games, and we're going to, I love this starting out on a, what's the word I'm looking for? On a reasonable schedule.
It's almost the hipster artist in me. I just kind of want to go slow and just make it cool. And the coolest thing is when we had the premium editions of Blood Hockey and Pigeon Dev going out, and then everybody getting them and hanging out and checking them out, and then doing the patches. It was like an event. Everybody doing the unboxings and doing the patches, and like going, "Hey, I got my patch. And Barry was inundated with emails, mind you. But it was cool as hell from my side. That was awesome. but think about it. With every series we do, all right, now we're shipping out the premiums of Robot Name Fight and other game. And so I've never said the title, but like now it becomes another event, and like Robot Name Fight is a beast of a game. The challenge we chose is reasonable. These developers have some because the developers are creating the challenges, not Barry and Jeff. Like the developers are creating them, and like they gave me some crazy stuff for Robot Name Fight. I'm like, no, let's make it insane. Let's make it fun but doable. Like you could do it in 15 minutes if you do it right. If you get the right set of circumstances. That's the same thing with Super Blood Hockey. You get the right set of circumstances, you take someone's life. You get the challenge.
Oh yeah,
wow.
And that's one of the things too is when as collectors, we've all stated we're all collectors. Jeff is a collector, I'm a collector, and JP is a collector. Mm-hmm. We have a lot of games that we're already picking up because there's a lot of games out there. The market is very saturated. There's a lot of different companies, so we know that. And we know, hey, if we flood and say, here's another 5 games, here's another 10 games,
Right.
oh my God, how can I afford that? Oh my God, this is crazy.
Yes.
And we don't want that. So we're looking, at definitely going slower. We're doing the longer windows, the 4-week pre-order windows to give people time. And the price we feel for what you're getting, even just in the premium, is $40. We feel that that's a very affordable price, and you're getting a lot of bang for your buck. And the quality is there because, like Jeff said, he's putting his passion into the designs he's doing. The artists that we're commissioning are putting their passion into the designs, and we're, as a group, putting our passion into assembling these and making them get to your door safely so that you can enjoy it. And we don't want to flood, because when you flood, things get lost in the shuffle. Oh, I've got 10 games this year. I got 20 games this year. Oh, what was that? Oh, that was game 13. Yeah, that was all right. We want to make sure that these are great games. We want to give them each their spotlight, which is why we're doing them in series. They have to open them, but we're doing them in series, like I said earlier, like sister games, and like they're gonna play off each other, and they're gonna, it's great to see people do Super Blood Hockey, and then they say, wow, I loved it. Now I'm going to get Pigeon Dev, and there's already another game for them to get if they choose to do it, and same vice versa. I got Pigeon Dev, now I want Super Blood Hockey, or hey, I got both, and like you're getting those emails, like here's an unboxing for each, here's both challenges, I did it all, that was great, I can't wait, and it like Jeff said, it's an event, and it's a continued event, because it's not like, oh, well, I missed the boat. No, the boat is always there. As long as we have the patches, get the game, do the developer challenge, and you will still get your reward. But if you do want it complete, you do have to open it, because that's the only way. You can't get like the digital and go like, oh, look, I did the challenge, can I get it? No, you have to have the card in the picture with your physical game opened, and you have to be like, hey, look, I did open it, I did enjoy it, because there's so much.
Jeff's a jerk.
Jeff's a jerk. Yeah, blame Jeff.
Way to own it. Way to own it.
Hey,
You know
what?
what it is? There's so many games coming out, and there's so little time in the day. And most of collectors, myself included, will get a game and go, that looks great, and we'll put it on the shelf, and maybe we'll get to it in a year or two, unless it's something we're dying to play. But this is starting to get people, and they've thanked us. They said, I probably wouldn't have played this. Super Blood Hockey, hockey's not my thing, but I played it for the challenge because I really wanted to get the patch, and now I can't stop playing the game because it's amazing and it's so much fun, and I never would have done it. So thank you for getting me to open the game. And to me, that's one of the best emails to get, because it's like, that's awesome. That's what we're trying to do. We want you to play the game. That's why the Switch Mania Playcast was started, to get us to play our own games.
The backlog.
Now,
we're playing stuff all over.
Yeah. Now I have the downloaded version of Super Blood Hockey. So is there, and again, I'm coming from I'm a little ignorant on some of this stuff, but so when the physical comes from you guys, is there something, other than the unboxing thing, is there something digitally on it that I get different than what I've got on a download?
We've been trying to include exclusive things. Super Blood Hockey is complete on cart, but outside of fixing some bugs, which they had to fix a lot of bugs in LotCheck. There are some glitches that are in the digital that aren't in our version. Outside of that, there isn't any crazy changes. Series 2 will have our logo, that splash screen, and our little song from the trailer. That'll be on there on each one. But yeah, like we want them to add exclusive content if they can. Super Blood Hockey was done 2 years ago, so that piece was a different beast.
And we want to make sure that our cards are complete. So like Robot Named Fight it would have been a Series 1 title, but when they told us, hey, we have, an extra patch coming out, we have some
deathmatch mode
and added modes, we're like, no, we'll wait.
Deathmatch mode.
We want that all on the card, because with the future, digital stores are going down eventually, and you won't be able to update your game. So we want to make sure that our cards have as complete as possible experience right there for you physically.
That's really cool. That's really cool.
So that's a huge deal for collectors too.
Yeah.
There was one thing that I mentioned earlier when I was talking about like how I created things. That was an important piece, and something that we're doing as an extra thing that really nobody knows about. So you want exclusive stuff.
Yes.
Yeah.
It is an exclusive.
And it's not even a spoiler. It's just something that we do. Like I mentioned, I was doing books, and I went to a publisher, and they were like, yeah, I'll give you 3%. And then 5% when you sell like 30,000 copies. One thing we're doing is we are hooking up. We're like hand in hand with our developers. They're earning as much as we are. And a lot of companies aren't doing it like that. Some companies saw that or heard that when we started doing contracts and went, and then they upped the ante. And we're like, good, we're getting the developers paid more. That's awesome because if they get paid more, they'll make us more games. And I want games. I'm buying games from all the other companies because we're collectors, man. Like, it's like, okay, you guys can, step up your game because we're stepping up our game and we're raising the bar on what it is to create a quality thing and how to hook up the developers. Then, okay, we're just making the community better. We're making everything better for us.
Right.
And like we're jokingly like saying, all right, when's the first person going to do a challenge patch to copy us? Like that'll be wild. Or right after we said premium guys, we saw a couple guides pop up, and that was pretty cool. We need more strategy guys because we're going to tread some new water. But when you see our guide, it's going to be like, okay, this is in depth. This is crazy. Because Steve that Barry mentioned, he's a speedrunner. So the guy is like super talented. He did an easy way Friday 13th book. He did an easy way Punch-Out book that is associated with the other Punch-Out books. So you can actually get 2 Punch-Out books in that Kickstarter. Like he's doing a lot of cool stuff, and he's our strategist. And so that's another exclusive, as we saw from Lance. In there. But that's the thing though, is that like we're trying to make sure we take care of, the developers as much as we can, and still be able to grow the company and print more games too.
Now, do any of you guys ever have an idea for a game and you talk to a developer and say, is there anything out there like this, or what would you do to do this? I mean, I've got ideas, and I'm like, I wish I could get hooked up with the right people.
So we absolutely know lots of developers now. I mean, I know a lot of classic developers that run game companies and things that are like, hey, if you ever have something, let me know. And the problem is I know what it takes to like program and make games. And I'm like, well, we have to have some kind of crazy, crazy game. A lot of my stuff is being made right now in NES Maker, if you've heard of NES Maker.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was part of that at the ground level. I was the first backer of NES Maker on Kickstarter, and I got the very first one. And so the first contest for NES Maker, we did a game called Happy Scrappy Hero Pup, which is based off my dog Scrappy Doo, and it's a little platformer in the Haunted Mansion and stuff. And I helped create the game in it. And then we had another developer, and he worked on tweaking it a little bit, and we had a musician working on music, and so that'll be a game that's going to be coming on the NES first, and then if it is cool enough, we'll try to port it over through Unity into the Switch and everything. But whether we'll publish it physically or not is really dependent on if it's a home run game. Because even if we create something, if we don't think it's going to be a killer physical, like worth a $40 price tag, for us, like we don't do like a budget series or anything. Like we're not going to do $20 games or anything. We can't afford to do that and put forth all the crazy accoutrements that we like to do.
Right. Yeah, I'm looking at a few things here where it's like spare change, snakes and ladders. Xenophobia.
For which ones?
At the NES Maker that you're talking about.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, the NES homebrew scene itself, which is the aftermarket NES development scene, is so crazy that I wrote an entire book on it. I have a 500-page book on NES homebrew. And that was like years ago before NES Maker. Now that NES Maker is here, there's so many games, and it's awesome. It's like the wow. I mean, literally behind me right here is NES homebrew stuff. This is all right behind me. This is covering most of it, but down here is over 1,000 NES homebrew games. Like I have tons.
Holy crap.
Yeah. Like I don't know. I think if I move this thing backward, it might actually show. Let me see. I'm gonna fall backward though. But yeah, there's a ton, and it goes down further. And I actually got in a game recently. There's actually a copy of Black Box Challenge back here. Let me grab that real quick.
There you go.
Slick.
Plug yourself. There you go.
It's literally right here. And it's me drinking a beer in a pool of NES games. And it's drawn by Joe Simcoe, who did Garbage Pail Kids.
Oh, wow.
That's awesome.
And then a game I released last summer is called Tower of Turmoil by a programmer who like basically is reprogramming NES Maker inside, and all this stuff looks crazy on the blue screen. But
Wow.
yeah, it's purple cover, Tower of Turmoil. I released that for a developer, Cutter Cross, and it's a little fun game for the NES. I did that before we announced Premium.
Yeah, that was part of your summer sale.
Yeah, it was my summer sale to help get some Hagen's Alley sales.
Well, now Jeff and I, we're both graphic guys as well.
Nice.
But Jeff does a lot more of his own illustrations and things like that, more than I do. And then also there's a gentleman that's over in the UK that I would say to check. I don't know how many different artists you guys check, or if you're, pretty good with artists. Because there's a guy over there named Stuart Dilley, and he did album covers. So he's done album covers for Chrome Molly, but the latest stuff he's done is work for a band called Wayward Sons that I've been working with, and he's really, really, really cool stuff. So, but they developed their first 2 records, and I think they're going to do it for this next one, is a comic book style.
Nice.
And so each album cover has this comic book style to it. And
so if you look at Super Blood Hockey, the actual retail cartridge, not the cartridge, but the retail case, that is a comic book artist that did it. Not that one.
Not that one. The actual case.
The actual case. Not the slip case. Not Paul. So that art right there is a comic book artist. Sean Daly. He also did the music in the game.
Oh, wow.
Really?
So, dude's wild. So, I mean, we have some exclusives that we can't talk about, but there's some cool stuff coming.
Yeah. That's one thing we try to do is we want to get everybody involved.
Yeah.
Get them back involved in the game that they've already worked on.
And we're 100% interested in all of the artists.
Yes.
So if both of you guys send us and you send us that guy's and he's interested, like we'll just talk, and if it fits a project we're working on, like sign an NDA to don't talk about it, and let's make cool stuff. I mean, literally right here is a robot named Fight on a wooden canvas that's going to be a retro box right here.
Wow.
See, one thing we want to do is we don't want to repeat any art. We don't like repeat art. So you look at the premium edition, of Super Blood Hockey. You got the slipcase. You've got the actual art by Sean Daly. You've got the manual has a different art. With the Pigeon Dev.
Pigeon Dev was challenging. We had to do aesthetics because we only had a couple art pieces to work with because it was such an obscure game.
And the retro box is different, and of course the steelbook is different. So we try and make it so that you're always getting different pieces of art as opposed to one piece repeated 100 times. It feels lazier, and this way, because there's so many great artists out there, and this way they're all being able to be showcased.
Well, and this art piece right here, what I wanted because the artist paints on canvas. So what I wanted to do is take his painting, scan it in, and then I'm going to create the box art like they created the box art back in the NES and Super Nintendo era, where I put all the copy over it. And then I do it. So I'm making these retro boxes retro style. And we already have I don't think we've shared the actual retro box for Super Blood Hockey yet, or not Super Blood Hockey for a robot named Fight. We've shared the one for Pigeon Dev for this art with this art on it is what I'm saying. Yeah. So I know we've showed this off before because I've been on camera with it before. But the retro box for that one. Yeah, we always have Series 1 on the brain with Pigeon Dev and Super Blood Hockey. But I don't think we've shown off the actual retro box yet, but I want to get it approved by Nintendo first before we share it, because the last time I did that, there was a Nintendo seal of approval on the Pigeon Dev box, and then, Nintendo was like, you can't use that. I'm like, why not? They did it on the NES. And I went back and forth for a couple of weeks with them just to make them I wanted them to tell me yes.
That's actually not the first thing where we've gotten, kickbacks on a lot of things where it's like, oh, you have to do this, you have to change this up. The Pigeon Dev retro box is one of them, but there's actually one thing that did come to print and is actually out there with something that was not approved, which is our original logo. if you look at our original logo, which is not this is actually our second logo. It actually had a Switch logo on it that looked like the two Joy-Cons. Erica did it, but Nintendo said it was
custom
too close.
drawn.
Custom
drawn logo.
But and Nintendo said it's too close, which sucked. However, the Super Blood Hockey patches were done and sent out and made with the original logo. So that is the only piece that you can get. So if you have that patch and you look at that patch, it has the original logo
way before.
Way before. So it's really
it's also this logo which Erica created for the Switch collector.
Yeah, so it's that, and it looks too close to Nintendo's.
This is the slipcase for the Switch collector volume.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. So if you do get that patch, you do that challenge, you will actually have the only piece with our original logo that actually came out.
Are all the Super Blood Hockey patches like that, or did you have to change them? Oh, okay.
No, all the Super Blood Hockey patches were done prior to because Jeff likes to print them early, so they were already done, ready to go. We were set to good move with that logo, and then we got the breaks. Like, nope, hold out. So the Pigeon Dev patch has
and this patch and the one on the patch, is it technically our logo because I put a number on it, so it doesn't have the Joy-Cons on it, so we're fine. But it's still got that little box on there. Yeah. They're not gonna They wouldn't even let me in the Pigeon Dev guide. They would not let me put in the evolution of our logo and saying Nintendo didn't approve it. They didn't care that I put Nintendo didn't approve it. They wouldn't let me put the logo picture in context of them talking about it. And because they have to approve every page in the guide. Like that's where like other publishers were asking like JP, like, did you guys get the guides approved? I'm like, yeah, and Nintendo has to approve them. Like I just send it to them and made them do the work. They want to check 200 pages. Okay. That being said, though, we said we do them early. I've already got the patches on QAQC right now with the patch maker. Barry doesn't even know this, but they got back to me, and I'm trying to eliminate some colors because we're trying to do them at cost, but for Robot Name Fight and other game.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah.
I also love how we have kind of we're like flies on the wall of a small premium edition meeting right here.
Yeah, see.
So Barry, I'll let you know we got the okay on that.
This ain't even close to a premium edition meeting.
No.
Premium edition meetings are intense.
Yes, because we're all doing things separately and coming together.
I had a question on artwork. Like this is the inside, which is I just love this art. It's just blood. It's like just a massacre on there.
Look, move the cartridge and see what's under the cartridge.
There's a hidden thing under the cartridge, which only one person in their unboxing actually called out. I was upset. I was hoping more people called it out.
Another dead body under the cartridge.
Dead body crushed by the cartridge.
100% JP wanted that, but I was like, that's great.
Let's hide one more under the cartridge.
One more. And actually, Loren is the one who took that screenshot. The developer took the screenshot for us. I was like, give me the most chaos possible, like on the screen. Because I was like, I could not get it right.
That's another thing, too, even with Pigeon Dev's inlay art is another art. It's another exclusive image that's not used elsewhere, too. So it's awesome to see what you can do and what like the fun of it, because there's so many games out there with no inlay art. It's so simple, and it's like it's just white. It feels cheap.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Have you guys thought about doing reversible covers?
Nah.
So we thought about it, but I really dig having full like giant art. The other issue that I have is when we have a reversible cover, they're like, "Are you gonna print it sealed with the other side out?" And then it becomes a big like craziness. Like I really don't even want to do variant covers, and we already have to with Sunshine, and it's like I don't even want to do variants. Like I just want
it's
one.
A pain. Yeah, that's the thing with reversible covers, especially is collectors, because it's like, do you get two to keep them, have both of them there, both sealed, and do you get two want to open and you flip them around, and there's a misprint and one didn't get sent out properly, and now it's worth hundreds of dollars, and then people get mad.
Yeah,
and we keep it simple, is the best thing, and we love the interior art because it allows us an extra canvas that we can put something cool there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it's kind of like when they started doing those clear jewel cases for CDs, and you can start putting things underneath.
I wish we could do a clear Neo Geo case. I asked like the Neo Geo case. I'm like, hey, can you make it clear so we can put on the inside? And they're like, no, we only do it in black. I was like, damn. Yeah, so we said that the premium edition mediums are crazy. Now we talked about we like to go slow. We won't really speak for JP. JP is insane, and so like we got it every day. It seems like every meeting we're like, hey, so we're full up until like Series 4. Series 4 is going to be like next year because we release things slow, and no doubt every time JP will be like, hey, I have this developer, this game, this. We're like, JP. like, JP, calm down, buddy. So passionate now. He's so crazy.
He's so passionate. And another thing is that there's a lot more developers now reaching out, because whenever you're a startup company, it's one of those things where it's like, is this going to be another Warned Collector? How's it going to look? How's it going to be? And now that Super Blood Hockey and Pigeon Dev, the premiums are out and people have them in their hands and they see that and developers see that, like, wow, this is quality. This is raising the bar. I want this to be for my game. I would love my game to have this type of treatment. So now we are getting reached out, more and more developers are reaching out, but we don't want to take up too much of a workload because we want to go slowly. We want to make sure that our customers can handle it. And we also don't feel it's fair to lock in developers, to a contract that we may not get to, because there's delays, like right now, people who order the retro edition and the premium or the deluxe edition of Pigeon Dev, I get emails every day. Hey, when is this shipping? When is this shipping? And we tell people the same thing, is that the steel books are right now in the ocean. They are on their way. And the book
real world stuff
is on the book, on the ship. So we are waiting for them to arrive to the warehouse for us to be able to send them out.
The irony was we were done right well in advance, and there's something overseas where they celebrate the new year like a month and a half later. And so by the time we finally got the approval, they're like, oh, we're shutting down for a month and a half. And we're like, and then when we get it back. So and this is what I tried to explain, like even when we get the stuff to the facility, because you have to use a Nintendo approved packaging facility. When we get to the facility, it still has to be all packaged up and created professionally. So it's still going to take a week or two to produce, and it's insane. The time hacks are crazy, and that's why we're already ahead of the game with Series 2, because we just want to make sure that as soon as we do pre-orders, we're like, all right, we have the prerequisite amount. Even in the pre-order window, we're going to order. We're not going to have anybody wait. At all.
Absolutely. And we want to let the customers know that do order that, we thank you for ordering those editions. Those editions are fantastic and worth it. It's just taking the time, which we're stuck waiting. It's out of our hands, but it will ship out as fast as we can. And that's one of the reasons we're holding back on even announcing other game with Robot Named Fight, is we're trying to prolong it a little bit so those customers don't feel, what, you're already moving on? I never got my game.
Correct.
We're trying with that. And of course the ship travel is slower. All we have are the proofs, like Jeff was showing the book proof, and I was showing the steel book proof.
That's not even the final book proof. They're going to send us the real proofs from the real printing. This was the demo proof I got before that crazy shutdown, the plant shutdowns and stuff. I've had that for a long time.
So we definitely want people to know we're doing our best to get them out there, but
and also there's certain stuff like the hipster artist in me where that book actually in the case is 7 millimeters shorter. So I reformatted the entire book to make sure it was perfect. Yeah, the whole thing. and Steve is crazy where inside this, he did when he did these different pieces for this is Bucket Night in here. It's really dark. I don't think you can make it out. But every single character on here is an individual image. And they didn't resize properly automatically.
Wow.
So I had to individually do each one.
Holy crap.
It took me almost 40, 50 hours it was insane. I was just listening to music. That's why you say love music. I was just listening to music and just sitting there I was just going after it and making it happen because I want it to be awesome. And even this right here, this takes, because Awesome P, and this looks different than the promo, but Awesome P has Game Boy aesthetics in it, Well, this looks just like a original Game Boy Japanese manual with the dots and everything. And I took it like a little inspiration and aesthetic from it. This art in the background is something the developer made that I put in the background, though, so that way it had like its own unique piece that she created.
Wow.
Now on the back, I have like a little logo section on there and stuff.
Yeah.
And this is all going to be sparkly and 3D.
Get
this
out
right now is not 3D, and it's soft touch too. It's like a little soft film on it. And then it's like I said, it's gonna be gilded in silver. There's gonna be bookmark ribbons. There's gonna be printing on the inside. Right now, there's not printing. There will be.
So you can read it and nap on it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, one cool thing about the guide too is it's not just a guide. there's extra stuff to the guide, isn't that right, Jeff?
Oh yeah, there's tons of extra stuff. Like there's a strategy guide, but in the front, even though she doesn't speak or read English, I actually got an interview with Anna, the developer. So the developer of Pigeon Dev.
Wow, nice.
Yeah, got an interview with her in there. Talks about everything, including Awesome P, which was like a box that she saw on the side of the road in water that looked sad. And then she created a whole game off of that. Like insane stuff in there. And then in the back is the creation of the physical. I told the whole story of Premium Edition games, essentially, and how we created the games in the back.
Awesome.
And so, like, that's the coolness for me. The so what is like the different historical pieces, and we can chat with the developers. So with Robot Named Fight, which is the next guide, like Matt responds on Discord all the time. Like, we're gonna have an awesome development cycle of the entire series. Like, I mean, it's 4 billion different combinations in that game. That guy's got to have like a genius level IQ. So I'm gonna like pick his brain. We're gonna have some kind of crazy stuff in that guide, and like then Steve is going to create. I don't know how he's gonna do the guide for that. It's got to be like a tips and tricks style. It's gonna have to be because 4 billion combinations. There's no way we can map that out in no guide. So,
No.
I mean, there's 100 items. There's over 60 enemies. There's like almost a dozen bosses. Like there's so much.
Cool.
So much in that game, and so like we're gonna make it awesome. We're setting standards every time.
Unbelievable.
What was the Super Blood Hockey premium? Was there a book with that?
No, the premium edition for Super Blood Hockey just has the manual. We're only doing the deluxe guide, one game per series.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I mean,
really
I can only create one strategy guide every half a year. So like, I was going to try to do one every quarter, but we're looking at one every series now. So
well, you know, the other night we were doing a show Sunday, and I got to talking about these new editions of the Harry Potter books that they're doing that have the illustrations, and how they didn't think that out, because they're like, oh, we're going to release one every year just like the original series, and but they didn't talk to their illustrator about that, you know. So
true.
You know, the illustrator's like, oh my God, wait, what? Okay, you're going to be late on this one.
Even like doing Black Box Challenge, I split it off. It's like a mini strategy guide in a narrative form, and it's going to require about 40 images. And ironically, is the artist, she thought that I wanted to do 4 images per chapter, and I'm like, no. Like, because it's broken out like that, so she can kind of pick and choose what inspires her. So if we're going after Duck Hunt, you know, and there's a whole story behind Duck Hunt, she can choose like which type of image she wants to go for with that game. That game, you go after every black box game, and you play. And here's the thing: I mentioned you collect it. We play mini games in the game based off of those black box games. So there's a mini Donkey Kong, there's a mini baseball, there's mini golf. That would be a wild port. Papa Pete knows. Papa Pete knows. I don't know if anybody can handle that challenge. We'd have to change it if we put it on Switch, though. We would have to change the branding because
no Donkey Kong.
Well, yeah, exactly. Like the Nintendo licensing and stuff. Like we would have to modify it, make it funny.
Danky Kang.
Danky Kang.
It's Aang like Danky Kang.
Zorlda, Legend of Zorlda.
So you guys also mentioned
Celia's in the house.
Oh, yeah. My wife's our laugh track back here.
Nice.
So you guys also have a podcast, correct?
Yes.
You guys have a lot of stuff going on.
Yes. You wanna talk about that, or should I, Jeff?
How often
Go
does that come
ahead,
out?
Barry.
So yeah, we do the Switch Mania Playcast, which started in 2019 with Jeff and JP, and their main goal was to just start playing like a book club, play a game a week and talk about it. And JP had a step back late 2019, and that's when I joined. And 2020, JP came back, and ever since it's been the three of us. And what we try to do is we take a game a week, or sometimes it takes us 2 weeks to play a game, and we talk about the news and stuff. It's just like a collector's discussion.
Yeah.
And ever
So,
since we got
Barry
premium,
and I just talked about
Yeah.
Hades,
Yes,
the new game
Hades is the
Hades.
last
That was like game of the year. It was awesome. Like, it
Yeah,
was
it's
so
a great
insane.
game. It's a great
And then
game.
our next game we're covering is Blue Fire.
Fire.
Blue Fire. The developer provided us some codes, so we're gonna actually play that, which is pretty cool.
But one neat thing that we're doing with the Playcast ever since Premium started, we actually revealed to the world that we're doing Premium, is we're doing Premium updates. So, pretty much every week when we have an episode, and every episode has Premium behind the scenes updates.
So stuff like we're talking about here,
Yeah.
like that's on a Switch Mania Playcast. We'll be like, hey, I bet you didn't know this, Barry, and then we talk about live on the cast. Or we don't record live, but we do it like on the cast. And my editing is literally just leveling the audio, and I just put it up.
But one thing is, when we looked at other companies as collectors, one of the biggest critiques has been communication with customers, and we've seen it with several companies where the communication is good. People were like wondering if we're going to get games or what it's going to be like, or did they steal my money? And we didn't want that, especially as a startup. So in addition to doing emails, and JP does an email blast, and of course social media, we said let's use the Playcast as a platform to give people an in-depth look virtually every week on some of the stuff that's going on. So we're constantly communicating
So would
with
you say it
people.
was, Barry, like August? Like you could literally follow us if you go back on our August, and like you could
Yeah.
follow our premium edition journey, because we don't really hold back, like out of like just trying to keep stuff secret just to have fun with it. Like,
Right.
I mean, I have
Right.
something right here that I can't show because there's an unreleased game on it.
Yeah.
On my Switch kiosk, I created a custom marquee, a light up marquee with our games. So it has Robot Name Fight, Super Blood Hockey. It has the Sunshine Anthology, which we're going to be using for the cover, and an unannounced game in the middle, and it looks so cool. And I can't show it yet.
You gotta wait. You gotta
It's
wait.
so cool. It's so cool. But like, I mean, and that's the thing though, is it's the Playcast though, you get to like follow us along on our journey, and we like pull back the curtain on how we're creating stuff. I mean, as we mentioned, we're just collectors. We like to make stuff, and I got the creative bugs, so I can come up with crazy ideas and make them happen. And that's basically the hardest part, is just taking that last 15% and getting the stuff out there. It's the insane part.
The
That's
transparency
insane.
goes a long way with the customers. I don't. There's another company that's doing physical games. I can't remember the name of the company. I wouldn't mention it anyway because I don't want to make them look bad. But they've delayed games for months and months and have had no updates, and people are just like flipping out over it because they don't know what's happening. So yeah, keeping customers up to date like that is huge.
Well, that's because
Yeah,
we're gamers
I have
too.
friends
We're
that
collectors.
publish. I have friends
Yeah, right,
that
right.
like distribute games and create games, and they have games signed with companies, and they're not super happy. And they're like, if I would have known that you published, like we would be publishing with you. And I'm like, of course, but we didn't know we were publishing until Nintendo said you're allowed to, which was literally like I applied years before. Like this, like years back, I applied and we put forth information. They finally gave us the go ahead during COVID. So okay.
Wow.
That's another reason we love doing shows like this, where it's like, hey, we're out here, we're talking, we're telling you, it's not just names. You have our faces, you have our voices. We're putting
I mean, I
our
can bounce
faith
around
here.
like the damn picture. That was-
Exactly. I get a cloud, but
Here's a cloud in the first one.
the first one. But that's what we want, is we want people to not just look at Premium and go, oh, they're a game publisher, because we're so much more. We have passion. We're collectors. We're just people in the community like anybody else, and we want to treat you the way we want every company to treat us. So we're going to do our best to do right for everybody, and that's why we have open communication through social media and email. And if you have something you want to say, hey, maybe do this, or suggestions, give it to them. We'll obviously look through anything. We want to always improve. Some things are just not possible, but we'll always do our best for our customers.
So who's got the biggest Switch collection amongst all of you guys?
Not me.
It's
I collect what I want.
If you're asking Switch collection in terms of multiple copies of the same game and systems, JP. If you're asking who has the biggest Switch collection, we're tied because we both have a full English language set.
Which is insane.
How many is that for a full English set?
I don't know the exact
he can't
number.
Math well.
No. The reason
isn't it getting close to 1,000?
I can't tell you the exact number because there's I have cover variants, so I catalog them separately as two different versions, like Best Buy and Limited Run, or sometimes if Limited Run has the multiple covers, I'll get two to have them, like that craziness you're talking about. I do it, so I know it's one of those things where it's like, oh my god, it drives me crazy, which is why we're not doing it. I can't tell you exact numbers.
Let me put things into perspective. I collect what I want. And the Switch is so good that I have over 300 games. Just in my meager collection. And I collect very few and far between.
Yeah, I have over 1,200 cataloged right now, so I'm not sure.
1,200. The NES only had 768.
But a lot of those are doubles, like I said. So
which varies. No, not that many doubles, Barry. That's insane. You got a lot of games. There aren't that many doubles. I'm just saying, though, it's more than previous series, and it being region free, like y'all mentioned earlier, helps because I'm to the point now where it's region free. There are games in year one and now bleeding into year two that are turned into $100, $200, $300 games.
Yes,
and so I wanted to play Ease 8. Ease 8 came out, and Ease 9's on the way. It's coming. And Ease 8 is multi-$100 game now. And Barry was like, hey, it's available at retail for PAL version. And I'm like, I'll just get the PAL version so I can play it. It's in English. I don't need a full US set right now. I don't think I'm ever going to get a full set. And I just want to be able to play the game and enjoy it. So it plays in English. So I actually got it in the mail. Don't have time to play it yet because we're playing Blue Fire. But I bet Barry would be easily convinced to do an Ease 8 episode.
Oh, and right now, yeah.
Ease 8 is expensive right now?
Yes, Ease 8.
US version?
Yeah. Yep. I had no idea.
Oh, it's like $100 to $150 game opened or something like that.
I've got that laying around here somewhere.
Mm-hmm.
But the collector's edition is 300 something.
Jeez.
It's crazy. But you're talking about variants, JP will be, if he was here, he'd be like, I have all the Let's Sings from every different country because they have different songs on them for the different countries. And that is great. I have the UK version because it's all in English and I'm happy with that.
Yeah, the cartridge only of Ease 8 is $75. Just the cartridge.
Oh my gosh.
I can't do that, and I'm not a completionist collector. I have part of my backlog in the Switch collector book that I still haven't gotten. I have that I want to get them, and I'm using my book to categorize my own collection. But the thing is that now I have to go back, and it's I want to play Ease 8. Oh, it's crap. It's a lot of money, and it is. And Barry's not wrong though. JP collects physicals, which are code in box games. He collects
See, now I do those too. I collect the ones for U.S. region because going for a full U.S. set, they technically count as retail releases. However, JP will collect the European versions, even if there's a U.S. physical. He'll get the European physical as well. And there was one game
Collector
in particular.
Sickness is what we call that.
There was one game in particular, which was Mortal Kombat 11. They had the original version was physical, and then they had the Aftermath, which in America was just a physical, and then they had the Ultimate or whatever, and that wasn't getting at all anything in America except the digital. But in Europe, it was getting a physical, and I'm like, oh, I'll order it because the picture showed it fine. When it arrived, it was a physical. I'm like, oh my god, seriously, I don't want European physicals. JP had ordered it, but it hadn't even shipped yet. He wasn't sure when he was getting it. I said, look, you want it at cost, just come pick it up. And he did. He came over and he picked it up and he paid me at cost. I didn't charge him any extra. Here.
Wow.
Just take it because you're going to get love out of it. And I'm not because it's a physical from Europe and I don't need the.
I have one
physical is a digital game that's
code in box
packaged in a box.
Yeah, and it's not even really code in box because the only physical that I have is Retromania Wrestling.
Yeah.
Which
I've got that.
the developer posted about it, but there's no code in there, so it's not even a code in box. It's just a fake physical.
Just a fake physical.
It has a pretty cool manual in it, though.
Yeah, that was a pre-order thing, I believe.
Yeah. They gave you a code. They emailed the code, though.
Yes.
Yeah, they
Wow.
emailed the code.
Yeah.
I will say though, there is actually one I do have in my collection that is not an American physical, and the only reason I have it is because it's a really weird case or situation. It's called Big Bash Boom. It's from Australia, and the reason I have it is because it actually came with the steelbook if you pre-ordered it, but the steelbook doesn't have a card slot. It is literally just an empty steelbook that you can't use, and I'm like, this is too crazy. I have to have it. So,
Oh my god! Oh no!
so yes, that does exist.
Do you guys go for games? Because I mean, one thing I like about the Switch is picking up stuff like this.
Oh yeah,
These cool,
Yeah.
or even this, which came out here. I don't think
I got the complete version because I wanted the Arkanoid Cross. Invaders. I got the NN version.
This came with it.
Yeah, that's super expensive. That version. I was like, oh, it's pricey.
Well, there's one. Well, this at the time it wasn't bad, but there's one that's got the big box.
Yeah.
I saw someone unbox that, and then I was like, wow, that was really nice though.
And you mentioned that too. Is that like my special editions? I'm picky about. They have to be uniform. So like if I'm getting stuff like I like the Play exclusives where they have all the same style, and I mean obviously we're doing the same style for all ours too. Like we want to have a consistent piece. And I mean like really like we want to, if we could do a retro edition for every game, we will. Like it'll be amazing, and that way we have retro boxes that are all the same size.
And that's one of those things too with collector's editions, because they all come in different shapes and sizes, and some of them are worth it and some of them are not. It also depends on if you're a fan. But I, as a collector, and I'm sure any other physical collector will come to this, if they're not dealing with this already, they will deal with this eventually, and that's space. You're running out of space. It's just a very real problem. I had that issue where I'm running out of space, and I took a hard look at my collector's editions because I got them all, and I'm like, you know what? I don't need these. I looked at them, and any collector's edition that was significantly more than the regular, I bought the regular, sold the collectors. Any one that was about the same, I gutted the collector's edition, put the art books together, the CDs together, and I'm sure there was other collectors like crying, like, no, you're opening that, you're ruining the value. I'm like, I don't care, I need the space, and now I have this cool stuff to hang out with, and that's how it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be enjoyed. Another reason why we do the challenge card, because we want people to enjoy. What's the point of doing that 200-page awesome premium guide with the interview and the history if you don't open it? There's no point. No one's going to enjoy it.
That's why I like each piece you can display on its own, because it's all unique art. It's all different pieces. It's all different stuff. It's super cool that way. And that's kind of like we want to do stuff that we dig and how we collect and how we display. And I mean, I put away a lot of my limited edition stuff too, just because I don't have space for all of the things to display it and make it look cool. Yeah, I mean, that's
you gotta have a stack in a corner, and it's like, okay, but
yeah, I do this. I go that way with posters and things. I used to go to the music stores and get posters. I was very blessed to get some posters that were freaking huge. I have some of them I still have. I've got 2 Quiet Riot posters back there that are shit. I don't know how tall they are. They're 5 foot tall and 3 foot wide, and they're autographed. And I'm like, first of all, how much is it going to cost to frame it?
Yeah,
at that size. And secondly, I'm just
start sticking on the ceiling, Stuart.
Yeah, you're gonna have to have like something on the wall where you can like pull it up and like have multiple posters that you can flip through the store. And how much would that cost? And how much would that cost? Like insane.
See, and honestly, that's something I find fascinating about any collector is sometimes you have to make some really interesting decisions on how you're going to display and utilize your collection. Sometimes you have to sell it off. Like, I have no use for this poster. As much as I love it, I can't hang it. There's no space. Right. Sometimes, like the collector's editions, you have to gut them or sell them. One of the things I had to do is I ran out of shelf space for some of my games areas. So what I actually did is I built secondary shelves, game shelves, to stand in front of my other game shelves, and I put them on wheels. like an old school library with hooks on the top, so that they would hook on top so it wouldn't topple over, and you can slide it left and right to get to the games behind it and hook it to make sure it doesn't
Literally
fall
a
over.
library.
Did you have a ladder too, so you could climb up to the
No,
top?
it's not that high.
It's a ladder.
It's a smaller room, so
You need a ladder.
yeah.
A mini ladder.
You know what it is, necessity is the mother of invention, right? So
Exactly.
it's great how you can try to figure out ways, and everyone's collection is so unique because they have those little things, those cool things that they do, and it's awesome.
I mean,
and
right over here on this side, that's on the other side of the camera, I have my NES wall. So it was an NES thing where I had my rental wall where I had all the games face forward like I did rental stores back in the day. Now my Switch games are like that, and I have my top 40 Switch games face forward. And then
as they're slowly going to
and then
spines.
and then we have and I have one in the middle, which is my backlog, my games that I want to play. And then the next up on there, and then below that is all of the ones spine forward.
So is your top 40 your favorite games or the most expensive games?
My favorites. My
Top
top 5, my top favorite, and I have some limiteds, and then over here. My top favorite game on the Switch, Breath of the Wild, for sure.
Is that game crazy? I mean, you can
love it. You
can go anywhere, do anything. I mean, just go through YouTube sometime and you'll see the craziest thing people are still doing.
Yeah.
I had no idea you could even do that in the game.
Yeah, like my other games that I have in there, my top 5, Hollow Knight, love Hollow Knight, Oxium Verge, I have Castlevania, or not Castlevania, Bloodstained, Curse of the Moon, the Castlevania style game. That game is so good. It's like Castlevania 3, Dracula's Curse, but on the Switch. And then Super Mario Odyssey, the newest Mario. Like those are just classics. But yeah, like I love the Metroidvania style, which is why us getting Robot Named Fight was like a dream come true. And then of course the classic Castlevania style Bloodstained is just such a good one. And with that one, I have their like retro box style, and it was done by Tom Dubois, who did Castlevania. So he did their cover on their NES style box that they did.
Wow.
It's so cool. Like I was like, oh, that's amazing that they got Tom to do it. Tom is super expensive, although we'd have him do our boxes too. Like he's a premium price.
Yeah. Someday
we'll have Tom.
One day we'll get him.
We'll get him.
We'll get him one day.
Well, the one guy I thought is over the years that I actually had a chance to talk to briefly over in Ireland when I was visiting over there, because I was hoping I was going to be able to see him, is Jim Fitzpatrick, who did a lot of the album covers for Thin Lizzy back in the day, and he'd be some cool stuff to do too. To have him.
Well, a lot of those artists do commissions.
Expensive too.
Yeah, they just do commissions, but you just gotta catch them at the right time. There's one thing that one of the artists told me, which is Paul. He said you can have things 3 ways: cheap, fast, and good. Choose 2.
Yeah,
that's what he told me. I was like, that is the law of commissioning. That's the law of production. You can have things. Like, that's literally what he told me. I'm like, I'm going to steal that, Paul. I'm going to use it everywhere because that's amazing. That's exactly it, though. If we need things on a deadline, it ain't going to be cheap.
Right.
And if it's cheap, it ain't going to be good.
No.
And if it's really good, they can't get it done fast. So, like, it's just like, it's a classic thing of production. And I mean, it's the same reason why we're going slow. So that way we can do things affordably and premium.
Right.
Right. We got rid of the fast. And I mean, those of you that are still like that pre-order though, they're still not having to wait a ton because we're making sure we have our ducks in a row. Right. So that way we can make sure we maximize. It's just, so people have to wait a little bit.
Since you're being so transparent with them, are they not like, when's this coming out? Are they not like gonna?
Oh no, they still are.
Oh, they still are.
You know what it is we're saying the same thing, but not everybody follows us everywhere. Yeah, and that's just the thing. If you with the email updates, we do have an update subscription. You can actually click and subscribe to our newsletter and get information that way. The social medias, of course, and then the Switch Mania Playcast. And if someone doesn't follow us on social media or pay attention on social media, because
Or doesn't have time to get to any of that craziness.
Then in the email, and that's the last straws. In the email, then you're going to get the information straight. I'll tell you exactly.
And then Barry will literally look up like the order and goes, "Oh yeah, you have the retro edition. We're on a freighter right now, like a month out." Like,
why is your order not there? Let me find out.
Now we're not even a month out now. Now it's like a couple weeks. But like, it's, and then when we see stuff like we see freighters getting messed up over in South America, we're like, crap.
Yeah,
like, what's gonna happen to us?
But yeah, that's just it. We want not only to go slow, but we're not like, oh well, since the retro and the deluxe haven't shipped yet, we're just gonna sit here and twiddle our thumbs, and then we're only gonna start Series 2 when we announce it. Like, no, we're using this time wisely. So Series 2 should come out faster, hopefully, provided there's no unknown delays. Like even the box had a delay you were talking about on the playcast, the last one, where the printing, there was like 5 white dots, and they didn't know it until they printed it, and they had to reprint the whole outer box again. And it's like, like these are things out of our control. So it's, we try to allow for it.
Slide.
Yeah.
I'm like, please reprint.
Well, even Super Blood Hockey, if you look at our release, Super Blood Hockey was actually supposed to come out not with Pigeon Dev, but before. But the luck check kept coming back because they kept finding bugs. So that's what Jeff was talking about, how our copy of Super Blood Hockey doesn't have the bugs that the digital version has. Because
when we say lot check, like Nintendo looks at it and has to approve the game's release.
Yes.
Okay.
So because that took a couple months for them to finally approve it, we had Pigeon Dev already approved. So we just wound up.
Well, they went back and forth 8 times with Nintendo on a game that was released on the eShop for like 2 years, and they kicked it back. They found it was like stuff like they would go on there, they would come back. And they would be like, well, if you press up, down, left, right, and then hit the home button on the second player's controller, and then press left at the same time on the other one, and then you do this thing, it causes a crash. And we're like, how are they doing this stuff? Like, what are you doing? How many hands do you have? Fingers are like going like, how did you even figure this stuff out? Like, and I'm like reading this, like bewildered, and then the developer's like, okay, I got it. And Loren like knocked it out in 2 seconds.
God, it's like black box variables there, man. Like,
yeah.
But
we weren't even used to it because like Pigeon Dev was 4 games and they were already approved for lot check. Like they were good. So when we say that, Series 2 games are both approved already, Robot Named Fight's approved, and the other game's approved. Like, we're ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
Wow.
And so we're just waiting on shipping.
Your copy of Super Blood Hockey is literally more bug-free than the digital?
Yes.
The digital didn't get updated at all?
No.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, I'm certain, and it really depends on the developer. We can do 2 ways of doing a physical Switch game. We can create a brand new SKU, create a brand new game, or we add a physical to the current existing product. With both Super Blood Hockey, Pigeon Dev. Pigeon Dev had to, because we did all 4 games on one cartridge where it pops up 4 icons. We had to create a new SKU for that one. And then even our unannounced game is going to be its own thing. But Robot Named Fight is such a crazy beast. They wanted to keep it on the same, so we're waiting on that Nintendo approval, and then that will be a 1-shot, 1-kill. So when they update that, it'll be updated on the actual game. However, we waited till all the updates are done, so it is the final version,
which is awesome.
Kitty Cat
joined us.
So, are you guys willing to come back once you have maybe Series 2 out or ready to come out? Maybe you can come back and
probably after the direct drops. We'll maybe during the pre-order window or something, while people can still get that awesome.
Any idea when the direct's coming?
Soon. As soon as what we could tell you.
I mean, in all honesty, as soon as freight shipping delivers the stuff to our warehouse and we can get the stuff out there, because what we don't want to do is go, we got these games coming, and then Barry gets inundated with a million emails going, what about my game first? And we want to get the game first out.
What we're doing is we're going to do our best to hold off on the direct for people to get the games. We may have the direct come out around the same time or right before those games start shipping. However, like Jeff was talking about, we're going to have the pre-order windows for Series 2 come after the Direct. And it's not like the day of. Or
It'll be
the next
addressed
day.
in the Direct.
It'll be
too.
addressed in the Direct. So there'll be some time in between. So hopefully by the time that window opens, everybody who pre-ordered the Retro and the Deluxe will have their copies at that point.
And there will be something really cool in the Direct. So.
Yes. There'll be a lot of
Yeah.
things really cool in the Direct. What are you talking about? Not just one
I
thing.
didn't even want to spoil that much, Barry. Like I said, there's going to be
come on.
something really cool in the Direct. I mean, there's going to be some cool stuff. And there's even something that, I mean, I don't think anybody else has done, at least now with the Switch, that we're going to do to offer a little more longevity to our previous releases too. Like we're going to do something really cool. And it's something that I don't think anybody else has really done to the extent that we're going to do it. It's going to be rad.
Yeah, we have multiple surprises, and it's going to be a lot of fun. And especially if you enjoyed we're trying to put some humor in it, like the first Direct, and just be crazy and be ourselves, and have fun with it, because that's it. We're having a passion. We want to put that out there as well. We want people to be excited for these releases, like we're excited for these releases.
Right.
This whole time, I bet Jeff and I know myself have been like biting our tongue, like instead of saying other game, like we just want to tell you what it is, but we can't because we have to save some surprises.
I was kind of hoping it was going to slip out by accident.
Yeah,
I have to.
I mean, here's the other thing. Like Series 3 is epic titles.
Yeah, Series 3 is awesome too.
With epic titles, like Series 3 gonna be epic, and it's insane. Like we can't even announce that kind of stuff, and it's like, man. And I didn't even started on Series 3 because Series 2 is my priority right now. I'm gonna get that all professionally done, and
I think people are gonna be really excited though, and we can't wait to see what people said. And so many people have been asking about Robot Named Fight because we announced that in August, and it's coming up in a full year. And people are like, when can I do it? When can I do it? And it's like, I understand your desire. All I could say is soon, because it is coming for sure. And that game is amazing, and we can't wait for everyone to get their hands on it.
Jeff, have you played that? My Jeff, have you played that?
No.
My Jeff.
No, I haven't.
Barry's got a Jeff. I got a Jeff.
And I'm really glad I haven't, because I'm looking forward to the physical version now.
Yeah, I was just looking at some of the graphics on it.
Dude.
And
it's
cool.
a roguelike Super Metroid, and it's like I said.
Yeah, there you go.
4 billion combinations, over 100 items. It's like awesome, and you can play that game.
Should I give them a secret?
No.
We've said it on the playcast. Should I give them a secret?
Well, I don't know what secret you are. We have a lot of secrets. So you can say, "Can I give him a secret?" And it's like, "Well, yes." And then you give a secret. I'm like, "No, that's not one you should give."
Not that one. Take it back.
It's about Robot Named Fight, and when they play a strategy secret.
Oh, that one. Yes, that's a
yes, I can tell a secret.
See, mini approval right there. It's in a meeting.
Robot Named Fight is a roguelike Metroid style game. Think about Super Metroid with no energy tanks. That's Robot Named Fight. As you progress, you'll get more power, you'll get more energy, you'll be able to last longer. But the game has permadeath. So when you die, it starts a whole new instance, and there's 4 billion combinations. You'll never see it again. They do have a seed section so that you can get a code and you can re-enter the same seed so you can play the same version again. So technically, you keep playing the same game over and over again if you wanted to. But I found a secret that was unintentional for them by the programmer, and I haven't let them know yet. I've done it on a few. We talked about it on the playcast, and we're talking about it here, but that's it.
Yeah.
And it's an unintentional thing, and it's a feature of the Nintendo Switch that actually breaks their permadeath.
Really?
So when you're playing the game and you happen to get in over your head and you die, hit the home button. Close out the game, and then it starts you at the screen before it.
It saves every room you get into.
It saves every room that you get into. So as soon as you hit the home button, if you don't go back to the main menu, the main screen, it will take you back one screen before you died, and you can continue your game.
Shut your mouth.
All right,
a little hint there.
Now that's a secret worth hanging on to right there.
Well, I don't want to tell the developers because they might patch it before it gets on physical.
Yeah, I know. Right? Okay.
I want it to be on our physical, and then it's like, don't update your game.
Yeah, you're good. You're good. You're good.
Yeah, that was interesting you mentioned the home button. I was just playing a game a few weeks ago. When I hit the home button, it's like a pause, except it'll pause in any spot, even a cutscene, which is awesome. But I hit the home button. I came back and went back to the game, and the game was still playing.
Huh.
It's the only game I've ever seen. It's like a bug in the game where it doesn't stop when you go to the home button. It just keeps on going.
Wow.
I had that happen on a PS5 game during a cutscene.
Really?
There was
really
a
annoyed.
game, a really awesome one called Troll and I that everybody loves.
God.
Troll and I. We played it for the playcast though.
Evidently,
and-
Barry loves it.
No, thankfully I
Well,
wasn't
no,
on the playcast at that point.
It has a it's supposed to be the worst game on the Switch. It's not, by the way, but it's like a very poorly ported game from other consoles. But anyways, like I went to the home button and went back, and it started like stuttering the graphics and craziness. Like they missed it in their lot check. It just had a jacked up thing. I had to completely close it all out, restart the whole thing, and then it started up fine again. But I was like, what the heck is going like the home button does some wacky stuff. I'm hoping that this unintentional feature that I found will not be patched.
Let's hope
And
not.
and I will absolutely talk about it in the did you know or tips and tricks in the back of the strategy guide. Not in the manual though. I'm not putting that in the manual, but I'll put it in the strategy guide.
Yeah.
So
Strategy.
now, so you had mentioned that you like to. I want to ask both of you guys this question too. You mentioned that when you get to your writing, you put your music on and you go. What kind of music do you listen to when you're doing that?
So I'm a metalhead. Listen to more 80s style, 90s style metal. More 80s than anything. Actually, before I started my career, I was in a metal band called None More Evil. Have the tattoo right here.
Sweet.
Inside of my arm. I was a bass, and then I started doing second guitar. Accompanying guitar. We used to take stuff like and make it more black than like we take Slayer and make it darker. Like I don't know how you do that, but we
gotcha.
did it. And then I went to my main career, which a lot of people don't know what I do, but it's not like it's a secret. But I've been in the military for 16 years, so
Okay.
I've been in for a long time. So I say I woke up super early. I did some crazy stuff. Like I feel my age now, but I shaved the gray hair away, and I continue to go. I'm almost retired though. That's where the 5-year plan came from.
That's me. Yeah, I'm getting close too. I work for the school district, so
Nice.
yeah.
Thank you.
So I'm looking forward to wrapping that up. What about you, Barry? When you're doing your emails and getting back when you're with your millions of emails, what do you like
See,
listening
I'm one of those people that I like to give 100% of my attention to my work. So
Mhm.
if I have music on, it distracts me. I start like listening to the music and getting into that, and then I lose track of where I'm writing. So even when not only just writing this, but just writing in general, I will just no music. I just laser focus. I want to give all of our customers 100% of my attention. Whenever I write anything else, I want to give it 100% of my attention.
So I'm going to give
Otherwise,
you
I'll-
a cool one I started. Did you watch the Foo Fighters Sonic Highways documentary? Like their series 1 where they went around the country and recorded an album?
Don't think I've seen that one.
So
I have seen another documentary on them.
So it's pretty rad. They go around and they learn about the history of music in every single city, and then they record a song for their album. Their album that they released a few years back, a lot of years back now. Actually, I feel old.
I know, right?
They were bringing up when they were recording out in the middle of the desert a band called Caius.
Yeah.
And holy cow, I put in Caius Radio now, and all the bands that sound like Caius are also obscure. That's what I do while I do our patches. When I'm putting our patches in and building all that, I'm listening to Caius Radio on Pandora right now and just hitting up all the obscure rock and roll and metal, and they're just sludge and like awesome like music. That's what I've been listening to recently. But I mean, I go old school, like just all the classes, the Maidens and Kiss I see back there, and all the classes.
Yeah, and this gentleman's gonna go tomorrow. Billy
Nice.
Sheehan.
See, this is what I was talking about before
unplugged.
about
Hold on, I gotta get plugged in.
he's unplugged.
Oh, I hate headphones.
But this is what I was
I
talking
hate
about
them.
with Jeff. He
Am I
just
there?
likes to
Am I
interrupt
there?
me. That's just what he does.
There it is. I'm back.
Welcome back.
So Billy's gonna be on the show tomorrow night.
Whatchamacallit, I do have to say this is pretty funny because Anthony, who is in the chat and been suggesting games, you have a Discord as one of our social medias, and literally just now to put in Savage Halloween as a suggestion in our suggest a release channel, and I had a laugh. It's like, okay,
There we go.
covering all bases.
It's that immediate
Exactly.
with us. That's how it happens.
I mean, there was somebody else that asked. It might have been Anthony, but I saw somebody ask if we're going to release games on the Evercade, the little handheld with the universal cartridges. Barry would love that because he's a handheld collector with interchangeable cartridges. But
but no, it's that. I think they're proprietary. Like they put out their own.
They do.
So, and everything it's them. So.
They actually asked me if I wanted to put Black Box Challenge on the Evercade because they did an NES like Homebrew Heroes cartridge that's coming out in the future. And I asked the developer, and he kind of wasn't interested. He's kind of burnt out in the game. Yeah. It's on him.
Interesting.
But yeah, crazy stuff.
I'm glad you guys came by. I'll tell you what, when I wanted to have you guys on as soon as I got the Pigeon Dev Games collection in the mail. I sat there on a Saturday afternoon trying to beat Bucket Night because I wanted the patch. And I played through like the 4 a little bit, and I was like, man, awesome. The Awesome P games are really good, but I think it might be a little too. It might take me longer than normal. And Bucket Night, I think, was just kind of the perfect one for me.
Awesome P is great.
So I'm sitting there playing this, and I feel like I'm 12 years old trying to get a freeway patch. And I was like, this is like the best feeling I've had playing a video game in, 34 years.
That alone makes it worth it right there.
Exactly. I'm about to show you guys an exclusive thing, which Barry's seen.
Yeah.
And it's something I can reveal. It's fine. It's fine, Barry.
I don't know who's worse at revealing things, Jeff, you or JP.
JP doesn't reveal anything. It's only me.
He tells people. You reveal.
Yeah. So this right here, it's going to look terrible, but exclusive. This is the patch for a robot named Fight.
Ooh.
Oh, there you go. Look at that.
I did the same shape. This is the mouth meat.
Look at
You get to be the mouth meat. So it's completely brutal. Yeah, this is actually the patched version from the company. But yeah, they sent me a demo for it, and so now they got to create demos for us, and then they'll ship them out. The mouth meat, another exclusive.
That's it.
I gotta hear the voice for Lance. Another exclusive.
Lance is just waiting for those moments. It's like he's got it typed in already, and he's just waiting
every
to hit
week we got stuff to reveal.
Yeah.
It's insane. Like
we're about to have a lot more to reveal, which is.
And I will tell you, you mentioned individual art, like Matt, who's the developer of Robot Named Fight, is reaching out to other artists, and we're probably gonna get some other unique pieces created for the release. Because there's still we got stuff like that, the deluxe box and the book cover and the slip, and they want to do really cool stuff, and there's so much fan art for Robot Named Fight. So, we're going to be doing some cool stuff that we haven't even seen yet because we haven't created it yet, but we will. And when we do, we will reveal things. Because once it's announced, we're going to be like, all right, in the Discord, I'm posting stuff up there.
Yeah, that's another thing. We do a lot of Discord exclusives. So when we reveal a lot of stuff, we'll do it first in Discord, then we'll do it in the update, the email update, and of course social media after that. Plus, and we'll talk about it on the playcasts as well. So we do definitely try to let everybody else be a part of the creation process too. And that's one of the things, if you go to our YouTube, when the Steelbook I showed off, when we got the proof in, JP did a video of the proof. Here it is. This is literally the proof of not this type.
Show the Steelbook again, and there it is. Show them it is tactile. You can feel the knobs on the television. It's a red television I had growing up in the 80s. Wow,
so it's embossed. Oh my gosh, it's like a lunchbox.
Yeah, it's like a lunchbox.
Exactly. And with Robot Named Fight, they're gonna up the ante. They're doing some crazy stuff with Robot Named Fights. This one is Steelbook of the Year like type category. Like it's insanity. And the inside, did you show them the inside?
I did, but I'll show it again. Of
Erica
course.
did the inside to mirror the inside of a television.
Yeah.
Tube, catheter, everything, and then there's like different characters thrown in there, like little like tidbits and stuff. Like she designed all that. It was amazing, and she's working on a secret project for us that we're not going to reveal. Not another exclusive, but she's working on something, and it looks so cool. Like it has retro aesthetics in it. Oh my god.
One thing I didn't show on the Steelbook, but I do have to show quickly. Unlike Nintendo, we actually do have the name on the spine too, because Nintendo's Steelbooks do not have the name on the spine, but ours does, so you will not have to worry about that.
And I also noticed that actually has a place to put your cartridge in it too.
Yes, this one absolutely. Yes, it does. And the manual too.
Wow, there you go.
Is
you can fit a
there's
manual in there.
the book up there. I think you can put the book here in this.
Oh man, that's great.
So if you want, you can.
And it's the only horizontal one that they've released front and back, the company.
Yep.
Wow.
So it's the only horizontal one.
I'm going to click on some artwork here. I'm going to see about
it. Steelbooks I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It's insanity.
Really nice.
Let me show you this. This is going to come across in front of everything. This is that Stuart Dilly that I was telling you about. He did
this.
That's cool.
That's rad.
Yeah. So that's something he did for Little Angels years ago, but now he's working with Wayward Sons on their album covers and stuff. So, so he does some great stuff. There's certain artists that, and I'm sure that's probably the same with you guys. There's certain artists that speak to me. You know, when you see their artwork and stuff like that. You know, and you know what? I'm going to hook you guys up with this. Let me, the Namco collection that just came out?
Yeah.
Not long ago for the Switch?
Yep.
Hold on. Let me get it here.
There was
we
didn't even get a physical here. That we had to import that one.
Hold on.
This is talking about Namco.
I'll get it. It'll work. I'm a big boy. I can make it work.
Not the pack.
You're a real boy.
Oh, shoot.
The second one.
I suppose.
There are 2 physicals of Namco.
Hang tight. I'll get it.
They have 2 physicals. Don't they have also 2?
Shoot.
Well, there's 3.
Talk amongst yourselves for a second.
There's 3 Namco collections. There's the Namco Museum that we got the physical with Pac-Man, and then there's the Namco Arcade Collection. I think it is where there was 2 volumes, but only Asia I think got the first one physical, and Europe got 1 and 2 physicals, and we got nothing other than digital.
Yeah, and that was what NES games.
Yeah,
not arcade games.
No, the first one was I think NES games. The second one I think was arcade. Let me see. It was just called Namco Collection. The other one was Namco Museum Arcade Pack. So the Namco Museum might have been the arcade versions, and Namco was the NES versions. Yeah, I think that's the NES. Yeah, it says a Famicom card on the cover.
Yeah, this one?
That's the first one.
Yeah, the arcade pack.
So this gentleman is a personal friend of mine.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Did this artwork. So, and he works out of St. Louis here. So I will definitely hook you up with him.
Oh, cool.
That's
that
awesome.
Was really neat looking.
We actually have, like, for both art styles, we have like a couple games coming up in Series 3 that they might fit.
Yeah.
Like, for real. I'm looking at that one, Barry, and you probably already know what release I'm thinking of.
Yeah, I probably do.
Flawless. And it would be a really killer artist to have on board with that release.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, thank you very much. That's awesome.
Now we're talking shop on this. Now we're talking shop.
Talk about a premium meeting. Here we go.
Now they're exclusive.
See, now if it transpires, and everything comes to fruition, everything works out, be like, you heard it here first. You heard the creation of this connection, this contact.
Exactly. And you both said you guys both do art too. I mean,
yeah.
All it takes is the right piece to look really cool. And
yes, that's just that we want to make sure the art works with the game. We want it to apply. So if someone does like a horror artist, you're not going to put them to Awesome P. Like we're gonna.
I might, but
he might.
Now it has to have a cool aesthetic, and there's so many pieces that we're doing with our releases that there's art opportunities, and it all comes down to cost too. Because I mean, we have the coolest artists ever, like Tom Dubois, but if he wants to charge $10,000 for something, like we can't afford $10,000.
We can't afford it
for that, and actually release the game affordably because it adds price. Like we can't do that, so we have to make certain decisions.
I'm not sure how you guys are fitting all this work in between day jobs and all this.
I mean, I was up at 4 a.m. this morning for work. And now I'm chatting with you guys. I didn't fall asleep yet.
Here's how we do it. It's a team effort. It's not like a standard.
It ain't just me. It ain't just Barry.
No,
it ain't just JP.
It's not like a standard business where it's like, this is what you do. This is what you do. We have our main things that we focus on, but we wear many hats and we help each other out and we work together to accomplish things because we have to. Any startup is like that. It's not so much a business as much as a team, and it's not just even the three of us. So Frank helps out, and Erica does the designs, and Rowan did work on the manuals, and Steve doing the deluxe guide, and Dan doing the editing and all that stuff.
I saw him pausing up there.
Bit. He's going down.
Yeah, I mean, there's even the aspect, Barry, where the developers for Robot Named Fight are looking into artists that inspire them for some of their items. And I'm like, hey, if they hit the right price range, like, let's do it.
Absolutely. And that's it. We wanted to not only speak for us and be personal for us, but also the developers, most importantly. And like Jeff was talking about with Lauren, with the challenge patches and seeing people sharing Super Blood Hockey, he was on cloud 9, and naturally, who wouldn't be? People are sharing your game and talking about your game, and like that's awesome for him. And I'm so happy for him. Every time he chimed in, it was great because you could tell he was just loving it, as he should be, and he deserves it because Super Blood Hockey is an amazing game.
Yeah, I actually asked him online on Twitter. I said I asked him if there was going to be if there was a sequel to it, if it would have online.
Oh.
And he goes, I can't say if I'm making one, but if I do, it will have it.
Nice.
Yeah. I mean, what we've seen is Loren's working on a Rampage style game. That looks amazing, by the way. It's like a style of Rampage, but like the buildings like twist and turn, and there's weird characters and stuff. It looks so cool. It's on his Twitter. And then I thought that he mentioned somewhere, I think it was on an interview on our website, that he was looking at doing another violent sports game.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting too.
Like he was thinking about doing like a whole Super Blood League, like different sports. So that's certainly awesome if he does it. I hope he does it, and should he do it, well, we'll see what we do. Can't say you're
I dig it. I like his style. I like the way that he thinks when it comes to gameplay mechanics of Super Blood Hockey. I like the fact that you can go inside the Blood Leagues and do the whole season mode, and then you incorporate your own characters and you level them up and you do all that. Yeah, I love the hockey RPG aspect.
I love that too. Like, who thought a hockey game would have an RPG element, and it does.
and then the challenges, which is hilarious because we had an unboxing of a YouTuber. They're like, "Oh, the game runs a little slow for me in exhibition," and I'm like, "Well, go to the challenges, and there's actually a way to change the speed on every piece of it. The characters, the hockey puck, like everything. If you unlock it, and you can unlock it in one match." Like, all you gotta do is do it. Like,
yeah, it reminds me so much of NES hockey or ice hockey.
Ice hockey, yeah.
Because you got the fat guy, the medium guy, the skinny guy, and it's the same perspective.
So cool.
Yeah, the game is just really great.
And it's just so violent, and it's exactly how I play NHL hockey on modern systems, so it's perfect. Because I'll play versus guys that play real hockey, and they'll be trying to do the fancy stuff, and I just check the hell out of them, and then...
I also like you can turn up or turn down the blood. I thought that was a nice cool touch.
Who turns down the blood?
Well, if you have kids, maybe, you want to... But what the option is
Canadian, that's what Papa Pete says.
I don't know what happened to Stuart. I think he must have lost connection here.
Yeah, his feed was doing what mine was doing earlier.
I was kind of hoping he'd be back soon. I don't want to keep you guys too long. We've already gone almost 2.5 hours here. But I do want to thank you guys a lot for coming on the show. I appreciate it.
You're having fun, right?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, wasn't it?
It was
awesome.
super fun, super cool, and
We're honored to have
you caught us chalking shop with exclusives. We didn't actually spoil anything though, believe it or not. We actually have because we reveal a lot of stuff on Discord and on the Switchman Playcast, but it's really cool to talk with you guys because you guys are digging it too, and like seeing your responses to what we're doing, which is really fun.
Yeah, that's the whole reason I wanted you guys on. I just thought you guys are doing a great job with these.
We appreciate that.
Yeah,
greatly.
Yeah, like it was always my thing when I started Higgins out. I was like, if like one person digs what I'm doing, I'll keep doing it. And it's like the outpour from Higgins Alley and now Premium. It's like amazing. Like we're just gonna keep going until Nintendo like forces us to stop, and they stop doing Switch games. They stop doing Switch games, and we'll still do it as long as they produce Switch games. We'll make Switch games.
Well, it sounds like they're gonna be making them for about 4 more years at least. They said they're about halfway. We'll see. It sounds like there's quite a bit.
Well, if they keep making cartridges and lower the minimum, like heck. Like,
oh my god!
Open. Because imagine if we didn't have to do 5,000, we could do like a lesser amount. We could tackle some like more indie games, and it would be amazing.
That's a big issue. It's with any type of business, you need to be able to make sure you make money. And 5,000 is a lot of games. So if you have something that no one's interested in, and you're sitting on 5,000 copies, you're not doing very much with it. So, lower minimums, we could do different things.
It's funny. I have a PS4, and some of these companies like yours will do PS4. They'll do Switch. I think those are the only two I really see. I have no desire, for whatever reason, to collect PS4. Limited style game.
Barry does.
I do.
I don't know what it is. I think it's just the cartridge. I don't know. That has to be it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, for me, it's the whole Switch itself. The fact that you can play it portably and on screen. The cartridge aspect is just complete nostalgia. Plus, to me, the Switch has every generation of games covered consistently, and the indie scene seems to be thriving so much more than the PS4 for some reason. I don't know why. It could be just because we're inundated in it, but I just love the aesthetic of it and how we continually see so many cool retro reimaginings. And Nintendo itself, like, to me, has a lot of nostalgia behind it with their own IPs. So
I think it's because if you get a Switch game, you're really getting 2 games in one. You're getting the home version and the portable version, where the PS4, you're just getting the home version.
Yeah.
And it's, another thing, it's, as we get older, we have more responsibilities, which means we can't sit in front of the TV as often or as long. So the Switch allows us to play the games more, more freely.
I've finished more Switch games than on any other system.
Agreed.
It has to be that. It's just, I mean, watching, you're sitting watching TV with your wife, you can just pop that out and play it handheld. You're sitting right there. You don't have to be stuck in a room by yourself, or you don't have to be forcing people watching making them watch what you're playing.
Make them all watch Super Blood Hockey.
Yes. Yeah. Come on, kids, sit down.
Come on, kids.
Time for you to learn some good life lessons.
That's how I teach my daughter.
Here's how to check somebody in the face.
See this blood? That's realistic.
I like that the blood is a little square. That's the best part.
Pixelated square.
That's what I love about the patches, because I made the little pixelated blood squares on the challenge card like super like defined, like super 3D. It was hilarious. Like we look at the challenge card on the Super Blood Hockey. I had so much fun with that one.
As soon as I get my patches, I'm gonna post them. I'll post them on Twitter so everyone can see.
Yeah, that's great. Thank you. Appreciate that.
All right, I'm gonna let you guys go so you can go to sleep maybe.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna pass out here.
All right, thank you very much for spending so much time with us. Really appreciate it, and we'll have you back on when there's more to talk about.
Absolutely, Jeff.
There's always more. There's always more.
Right.
We greatly appreciate you having us, though. Yeah.
Thank you very much. All right. Good night, guys.
Have a good night.
See ya.
Leave the studio.